in the Green Village, we will finally know who will be crowned the winner of the Climate-Launchpad 2022. My name is 𝐂𝐥𝐮𝐬, and it's an honor to be your host here today. Some of you I've already met at the regional finals here in Europe. I am also a Dutch sustainable entrepreneur, so I feel literally at home here today, being surrounded by so many amazing entrepreneurs that are willing to make a difference. I feel especially at home here in Delft because I actually graduated at the TU Delft 10 years ago. And I've been told, because this is a new environment, the Green Village here in Delft, that we are currently being monitored by over 200 sensors that are measuring everything that we're doing, so they will get some very interesting results today, I think. Luckily that the 16 finalists are sweating, having sweaty hands at home, because that will be extremely interesting to measure. So what we're going to do today, we will have the top 16 global finalists pitching live in our studio here. We have an amazing alumni panel with 3 graduated finalists from a few years back. And we will also have an amazing panel about inclusion and diversity in green entrepreneurship. Well, that's a whole bunch. Please sit back, relax, enjoy the ride, because it's about 4 hours before we will announce those winners, the top 3 of this year's worldwide competition. Before we're getting started, of course, we are all winners. It sounds cheesy, but it's true. I think the fact that you are able to create an environment where you can work day in, day out on meaningful stuff that are changing the world, I think we need it so badly. And I'm happy that this is a positive day, because we live in times that are rapidly changing. There are so many crises flying around us, and we all together are making a difference. And I was incredibly impressed when I heard that there were 2,000 applicants this year. 2,000 amazing ideas that can actually change the course of the future. So please, everyone, let's make it a celebration today of entrepreneurship and of all of you making this difference day in, day out, because that's what we need right now. So the future is now, and the amazing thing is, like Climate-Launchpad, it started off in 2014, and I heard it was already impressive. There were like 11 countries participating, and this year it's 59 countries from all over the world. We had 4 regional finals. That is like pretty impressive. So it's happening all around the world, well, I think it's about time that we also thank our main partners. That is, of course, EIT Climate-KIC. That is the TU Delft, where we are today. That is Irish Aid and Bank of America. Thank you for making all this possible for all these entrepreneurs from all around the world. Yeah, I think it's about time that we get started. So we're going to dive in. Please join me. I totally forgot to mention the 6 finalists, so we will do that right now. Because we have 8 themes, as you all know, and I will quickly announce them before we're going to dive into the story that we're going to discuss here today at this table. So on the first theme, it's climate adaptation and resilience. And we have from France, from sand to green. We have Kenya, SowPrecise. So we will see you later on in this final. In the theme of circular economies, we have Brazil, Mabe, and we have Ukraine, the S.Lab. Congratulations to you too. In the theme of urban solutions, we have Kenya, Circularity Space. We have Mozambique, 𝐀𝐥𝐿. And then we head on to the 4th theme. It's a mouthful, right? We have in clean energy from Switzerland, 2D membranes. Congratulations. And from Tanzania, WAGA. Then we're going to head on to food systems. In UK, we have FIBE. And in Turkey, we have biopoles. Later on, we'll see in sustainability and mobility, sustainable mobility, sorry, Trinidad and Tobago, and their company is called ProtoFab-TT. And from Ukraine again, Migo Electric. Congratulations already. Blue economy, very important as well. The UK, FlexiWag, congrats. And from Peru, 𝐾𝐥𝐿. And then the next big thing, the last and the 8th theme of today, Australia, Spark 3D, and from the UK we have SparkCell. Congratulations, we are going to hear more about your pitches later on, but please hang on a little longer, because here at my table today are 3 amazing people. Thank you for joining us. Kirsten Dunlop, you are CEO from EIT Climate-KIC. You must be so proud.
Very proud.
Yeah. And then we have 𝗨𝗏𝗯. You are the director of the Innovation and Impact Center. Thank you for making it possible that we're here today. We will hear more about it later on. And Emily Bronting, of course, you are program lead of ClimateLaunchpad. Well, this is the day.
This is the day.
You've been working towards for how many months? Whole program?
11.
11 months?
Right? Yeah, it's 11 months.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And now we're here,
now
being censored
here.
and all, with all these participants from all around the world.
Yeah.
Why is it important that they are doing what they're doing, that this program exists?
Yeah, with ClimateLaunchpad, we have the mission to tackle climate change, and we do that with helping entrepreneurs, and we help them by giving them the opportunity to participate in our program. So we give them coaching, training, skills they need to create their own business and to help them growing their business.
Okay.
That's what we are doing with ClimateLaunchpad. And besides that, we give them the network, invitations for potential capital, but also the connection with our national leads, with their network in all the specific countries where we are running the program. So,
I totally remember, because I graduated 10 years ago, I didn't have any support system. I actually, after 3 years, I was like, I think I am an entrepreneur. I was so impact driven. I think that is something that everyone will relate to today, because we're all making an impact in our own way. But it's amazing that you now have a program where you can exchange knowledge and just be there all together.
Yeah, there's happening. There changed a lot in the last 10 years.
Yeah,
so.
because what is the changes that you've been seeing? Besides that we like evolved from 11 countries to 59, there is probably more beautiful developments that you saw over the last couple of years.
Yeah, of course, the increasement in the number of countries, but also the switch we are making globally on the map. So we have switched this year. A lot of new countries are in the Latin America, so that's very interesting to see how we are growing and taking the entire world in participating actually in our competition. But also what we are seeing is that we are increasing the numbers of trainers that are involved in our family. Yeah. But also, of course, the partners and the national leads.
So the entire support system had to grow as well, of course.
Of course. Yeah, and we made a big grow by going online 2 years ago. There was, of course, a reason why we needed to change online. Yeah. But with making that change, it gave us the opportunity to make the program more accessible for more entrepreneurs. Totally. But also, in combination with the regional finals we implemented, it's also possible for more people to see our beautiful entrepreneurs and to see all the startups we are helping, because we are doing the entire program online.
And it's more sustainable as well.
And it's more sustainable, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's a good
what are the prizes for the top 3?
The top 3 make a chance. The number 3 will get €2,500, the number 2 5,000, and the number 1 10.
Amazing.
But I think it's good to say that the 16 teams that are going to pitch today already won access to the CLIM Accelerator program. We are going to give them next year, and then we are going to help them further with starting their business so that we can make the climate change and the impact we want to make with them.
Amazing. So everyone is already a winner.
That's for sure.
Do you have anything to add or to wish the participants?
No, for today, I wish all the participants very good luck. The top 16 teams that are going, but all the others that unfortunately cannot be there, also good luck for the good things they are doing.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Kirsten, you already mentioned that you were incredibly proud. Why is this competition so important?
Well, I think, first of all, it's about what the Launchpad is really about. It's about helping agents of change, people, individuals who decide to get off the sidelines and get in there and make a difference. Yeah. And having a program that supports that is, from my perspective, incredibly important in the current context. This is also the biggest climate launchpad ever. We've been doing this for 9 years. As you said before, this is 59 countries, this is 2,000 applications, and we've trained over 630 startups to think about how they develop. So no matter what comes here, the fantastic finalists and the final winners, there's still 630 ideas out there and people really working to make a difference. And that is that's a massive contribution. I think it's also important to notice how things are changing. This year we've seen a lot more startups that are coming through with circularity business models, which suggests to me it's kind of getting down to the ground. We're beginning to understand what does that look like, how do we build models like this. We're really proud to have continued to have a lot of strong support from partners. We've been partnered with Irish Aid, in Colombia, in Vietnam, and in Africa across the board. We've been working also with Bank of America in Europe, and we have a partnership with TU Delft now for 9 years. That's a long, trusted partnership on how we're doing this. Definitely. And lastly, we have had startups coming through this program from Ukraine for 6 years. but this is a very important year, and I'm so excited. We have 2 Ukrainian startups in the finals.
Totally.
So really looking forward to hearing from them both, and very interesting different solutions.
Yes, definitely. So you already mentioned the 59 countries. Do you see changes like where the startups applying from? Like if you look globally, is there specific regions where we get
as Emily said, there's a lot more kind of input now for an influx in from South America,
South America,
Latin America. I think Africa continues to grow, and that's really important for us.
Why is that important? Well, it's an open door question we say in the Netherlands, but can you explain to us why it's important?
Well, we've been supporting local on-the-ground startup supporters and ecosystem developers and entrepreneurial partners for a long time now, for many years. I think the big shift is just watching. We published actually this year a report on the African climate tech scene. It's growing absolutely exponentially. Climate tech startups in Africa raised $440 last year alone.
Okay.
But what's really important from my perspective is you're seeing a much more bi-directional exchange. Europe is learning and has a lot to learn from African solutions in water, waste, regenerative agriculture, the way we think about materials. So this starts to feel like a much more
equal playing field.
Equal and actually just a much more expressive partnership of how do we solve a global problem with different global capabilities. So that's a huge sea change. And we have COP. I'm going to COP on Saturday morning.
Yes.
It's in Africa. There's a big conversation about how does Europe and Africa think about this whole area of the world and the collective responsibility we have to look after each other.
You said something very important in the beginning. You said it's like, we're talking about entrepreneurship, but it's about people. It's authenticity. What would you advise to everyone? Like, how can we stay like true to ourselves in these? Because for me, we are working for 10 years on creating sustainable historic districts, for instance. People get angry if we can't give them a spot in our program. Like, there will be changes. They will not all be fun. And how can we stay true to ourselves and true to the mission?
I think
also making the impact.
Probably a couple of things. Any competition that is supporting entrepreneurship and startups still tends to feel a little bit like a winner-takes-all environment.
Yeah.
And we're in a climate crisis.
Yeah.
This is no longer a hero's journey. Yeah. This is about people really working together, finding connections. So one thing I would ask and beg anyone coming through the program is to look at each other. You're looking at hardworking, remarkable, clever people with pieces of a puzzle.
Yeah.
Find ways to connect. Look at how could you put business models together or material flows together or new ways of thinking about region and land and community together, and really think about collaborating deeply to make much more effective and bigger value propositions. And the second thing is, we are in a time of crisis. I mentioned that before. This is a moment, this is not like other moments.
No.
I don't think it's going to get calm again. This is a crisis of many. Yeah. So how do you turn that around? The storm is the time to fish. This is a moment to think about how would we seize these opportunities. There's an impulse for short-term solutions immediately. Yeah. What can you bring to that is still an investment in a long-term change? And finding ways to seize those opportunities, a hunger, as you said, a hunger for solutions. Yeah. This is a good opportunity to be there and to find them. But that means leveraging platforms. So we are here to follow through. There's a series of opportunities that follow on from here into the climate accelerators. It's really important to think about support networks, ecosystems, platforms, partnerships that allow you to grow.
Well, I think a big thank you to you for hosting, for being like the partner that is offering this to all the green entrepreneurs. We've been working together for a few years now. I know how amazing it is, so thank you so much.
It's our job. Thank you, Suus.
Thank you. You were talking about pieces of a puzzle, and we are here in a very special location. Paul Althuis, you are director on the Innovation and Impact Center. That sounds almost like a job that I would love to have myself. Can you explain to us, like, what are you doing here? And
yes, I can of course explain that. The Innovation and Impact Center is a sort of clearinghouse between the inside and the outside world.
Okay.
Of course, we support scientists to get subsidies, contract research. We have an IP office, so it links very much between the inside and the outside world. Yeah. But what we also try to do is not only focus on the Dutch or the Delft circumstances. We have really an international reputation. Yeah. We already work a long time in all areas of the world, with the focus to create impact.
Yeah.
I will maybe come back later to that, but the motto of our university is impact for a better society.
Yeah.
And I would say ClimateLaunchpad contributes very much to that.
Yeah,
because it's
scaling.
an important element in order to create networks.
Yeah.
Like Kirsten already said,
Yeah.
We are working now for 9 years on the ClimateLaunchpad program. Can you imagine how many companies started from that? I think that will be around 10,000.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, they should learn from each other. They should profit from each other.
Yeah.
And we should create a network. And by doing so, we make the early start with the setup of companies.
Yeah.
But we should also try to pay attention and to help them in their further development.
Yeah, totally. You are already operating partner for the 9th edition. Why is it important for you?
Like I already mentioned, we act globally, and we should do so.
Yeah.
We have a global responsibility.
Yeah.
If we mention impact for a better society, it is not the boundary of Holland, which is our territory.
Yeah.
So we have a responsibility.
And I also think that all these entrepreneurs, they also offer so much inspiration.
Exactly.
Right?
So we have inside the university also a TU Delft Global Institute.
Yeah.
They participated last year in the 8th series.
Yeah.
So that's why we see a very well a good link between what we do in the university and what we do in this program.
Okay.
We, of course, also focus on innovation and entrepreneurship.
Yes, because we are surrounded here by faculty, so it's buzzing with all those brains that are thinking about like solutions. It's clean tech everywhere, but here there's something happening that's different. So why entrepreneurship and innovation?
Innovation is part of impact for a better society.
Yeah.
And entrepreneurship is a way of doing so.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we created in the last 10 years a very lively ecosystem, so to say so, with an incubator, with all kinds of field labs. And one of the field labs especially focusing on climate and energy is the Green Village.
Yes.
You already paid some attention to that. Yeah. And I think this is also the place where small and medium-sized startups come and test their new ideas, which is wonderful.
When you enter this village, you see these amazing buildings, and you see that the future is already now, and you can measure it, and you can experience it. People actually living here, right?
They live here.
They share their experiences. This is part of the field lab. It's not just testing some stuff in a prototype. It's like happening.
True.
Amazing, amazing. Are there any last remarks you would like to add on the TU Delft? How are we contributing here in Delft on climate and energy?
Yeah, we have a climate action plan, which is truly combining all faculty inputs. We have 8, and you have studied here, all technology related, but we have a climate action plan for that. We have all kinds of institutes focusing on floating renewables, e-refinery, all possible fields, wind energy. So we try, and we have a student club for energy related students. 1,000 people study an energy related subject. So that should create change. And we need change.
We need it. So you can learn in these environments, and then you can apply it. And the entrepreneurial part, it's so amazing because you take your ideas and you make it into something that is practical, scalable.
True.
Afterwards. Well, I'm very happy that we're here, that you are here today. Thank you so much for this kickoff, this introduction of today. I think it's about time that we're going to start with the pitches. So please follow me, and then we will join the 4 jury members on the other side. Thank you. Yes, the 16 finalists. Are you ready at home? You must be having sweaty hands by now, because this is the first part of the moment we've all been waiting for, of course. Because we have the 16 finalists, and we will divide them in 2 teams, so to say. So we'll start with 8 pitches before the break. Then we will have a little panel discussion, and then we will be back with the second round of 8. So thank you for joining us, and please be ready to give your pitch and especially to impress the jury that is already here. Thank you for being here. We have 4 people in the jury today for this grand global final. First of all, Marjan Crijns, you are director at the Green Village TU. Thank you for having us today here. We have Brendan Rogers, you are ambassador of Ireland to the Kingdom of the Netherlands. Welcome to you.
Thank you.
We have William Jansen, you are CEO of Desalinator and one of the former ClimateLaunchpad participants.
Indeed.
Amazing that you're here. And Janneke Bik, and you are partner and impact investor and Shift Invest. Thank you. So what will you be looking for today? Let's start with you, Brendan.
Well, I'm delighted to be here as Ambassador of Ireland, but also as a former DG of the Irish Aid Programme, so I'm delighted to be able to assist.
Double.
I think as we look towards Egypt, COP27, over the next couple of weeks, hopefully we're going to have those recommitments by the international community to reduce our carbon emissions. We have to do it. It's an existential issue. What I would like to see, though, how do we translate those commitments into everyday changes on the ground? And to do that, we need business people, really small businesses, large businesses, making a difference. And I'm looking forward to these pitches today to see how can we make that difference happen.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you. How can the teams really impress you? Because you've been there on the other side.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I will be looking at fresh new ideas.
Yeah.
And I support new ideas. This is an idea competition, so that will be my main focus.
Okay. Inspiring new ideas, novelty. Okay. Do you have any advice to the participants?
Yes, well, I always find it very important to see the drive in people, what drives you, and so really build the relation with whomever you're talking to, if it's a customer or investor or whomever, and build the relation, let them see what drives you, because I think it's very important.
Then you get the human perspective again. So if the human perspective, what drives you, what brings you to the table, we hear something about novelty, but it's not enough. We need to make an impact, a difference, like what can scale actually. Do you have anything to add to that?
I actually do it. I like to see that
not
it's
just
not
ideas.
Not just ideas, but also how are you going to work to make it happen, and how to turn your plans into action. Now here, I really would like to welcome you all here today at the Green Village, because that's exactly what we do here. We are a field lab, an open air laboratory, and people with a brilliant idea can come here and test it for the first time. So I invite the participants not only to come here, but also to find such type of places around them in their neighborhood, because it really helps you in your development of your idea.
That sounds really amazing. So we have all the ingredients here. The finalists now know what we will be looking for today. I think we're just going to head on to the... Are you ready, jury?
Ready to rock and roll?
Yes, ready to rock and roll. That's a very good sign. Thank you. So, I'm going to announce the first pitch. They will start live here, and after the pitch, we will have a few minutes of Q&A with our esteemed jury here, live in the studio. So, please, people, give it up for France, from sand to green.
Hi everyone, my name is Benjamin Droguet, and I'm very excited to introduce you to SparkCell, which produces sustainable pigments to craft the next generation of colors and effect materials. The deal is a colored particle, which color comes from its physical properties instead of its chemistry. This colored particle can be large like a glitter, or small like a pigment. SparkCell will manufacture and sell this product first to cosmetic companies charging a premium fee, as these companies are desperate and legally obligated to find an alternative to traditional colorant. After addressing the beachhead market, we will sell to the fashion, paint and packaging industries, as these industries are also struggling to source sustainable colorants. There is no wonder why SparkCell is so attractive when you know that it is bio-inspired, made of a plant.
We are only human, so this was a little technical difficulty because we are actually live. Everyone who was paying attention, this was not the first pitch. So please, very sorry for that. We will now go to the first pitch, and this we will see later on. So ladies and gentlemen, from France, and now for real, we hope, we will have From Sand to Green.
Hello everyone, my name is Linda Kamau and I am a co-founder at SowPrecise Africa. We are developing a farm information management system called 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is customized to work within the African infrastructure that is characterized by poor internet connection, limited power supply, and a low purchasing power by farmers. Welcome to our journey. We provide vegetable oil processors in Africa with real-time insights on where to source needed vegetable oils. We also provide oilseed farmers with insights on where to get needed irrigation for their farm and, most importantly, market for their seeds. We charge a subscription fee of 200 euros for the oil processors and a subscription fee of 35 euros for the farmer to use our service, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Our beachhead market is the sunflower oil processors in Kenya and farmers, particularly the farmers in the semi-arid areas who are highly affected by scarce rains. We shall target to work with 50 processors in the country who have approximately 150 contracted farmers for their seeds. We shall eventually venture into East Africa and the entire sub-Saharan market. Our customer value proposition is that we reduce the cost of sourcing oilseeds by 33% for the oilseed processors. Currently, it costs the oilseed processors 180 euros to source 1 ton of seed. Using our product, they'll be able to, they will spend 120 euros to source a ton of seed. On the other hand, on a very good year, a farmer in a semi-arid area can produce 2,400 kilos of seed. But when they're able to irrigate their land, we can double that production. And this is how 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 works. The oil processor gives us a list of their farmers. We then go to the farmer's land and set up a soil moisture sensor that is in-house designed and works with solar power and uses NB-IoT. The soil moisture sensor has probes at different lengths, and once we detect that the sunflower crop needs irrigation, we connect the farmer to an irrigation service provider. And when the farmer is ready to harvest, we connect the farmer with an oil processor to supply the seeds. This ensures a continuous production and supply for the vegetable oil seeds. Our customer discovery journey started with the assumption that unreliable supply of oilseeds lead to loss of revenue for the oil processors, and poor production by farmers is caused by unreliable rain patterns. We have interviewed 8 oil processors, 35 farmers, and 10 irrigation service providers. Currently, we have an 18-acre demo farm in Kenya where we are testing our 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 system. We are on the second iteration of 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. We are working with 5 farmers, and we have a letter of intent with 1 oil processor who expects 2 tons of sunflower seeds every month. We are aiming to work with 50 oil processors, 150 farmers, diversify the services available, and supply 30 metric tons of seed. We expect to be making 75 million euros by making a profit of 25 euros per farmer we work with and targeting 10% of the entire market share in sub-Saharan market. We shall achieve this because we have a low cost of subscription, we have a high number of customers, and a long customer lifetime. We expect to capture 2.7 million metric tons of carbon by working with 3 million farmers who have approximately 9 million acres, with the carbon with capturing carbon at a rate of 0.3 metric tons per acre per year. And this is the team behind this project. We are led by Helen Wairago, our CEO. I am the CTO. Pius Wambua is our field coordinator, and we have Evans Nyamashe, who serves as our ICT consultant. We share a vision to streamline the agricultural value chains in Africa. We hope to be making at least 70 million in revenue every year and work with at least 2 million farmers. Thank you.
Yes, so that was a joke again. I'm so sorry. But we had an amazing pitch from Kenya, from SowPrecise. And for the team of France, you will be the 8th in the row. So please, we do not forget about you. You will get your spot a little later on. That's why we're live. Sometimes some unexpected things happen. And that was today. This moment. Kenya, thank you for the great pitch. Your 3 minutes are up now, and I think the jury might have a first question for you. You are live here in the studio. Thank you for joining us. Congrats. Do you have a first question, maybe?
Yeah. Can you see me? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I really like your product, and I work a lot in Africa. I work a lot with farmers in Africa, and I think this type of advice is very valuable. What I would like to know, how are you going to convince farmers that this works? And do you already have some plans for that?
Yes. How we are convincing farmers at this moment before developing the system is doing it manually. We know farmers who have irrigation kits, and we are connecting them to farmers without the irrigation kits using mobile phones and word of mouth. And the farmers without the irrigation kits are very happy because they are able to do a double production of the seed as it is. And the larger narrative that we want to sell is that Africa doesn't necessarily not have resources. We are just not using the resources that we have in a better way. We want to manage what we already have in a better way. And these farmers with the irrigation kits are willing to list them out because that's an extra source of revenue for them, especially if we can account for where they are at what time and what amount of work they have done and how much they are going to earn from it.
If I may give you one tip, is that allowed?
Yes, quick tip.
I would say think about the concept of farmer field days. So you have a demonstration at a farm where you show how it works. I've seen it in many other countries and it works very well. And you invite the new farmers to come to the field of a lead farmer who shows the way. And that really can help your product also further. But I really like it.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Are there any other questions?
Great presentation, I have to say. I've lived in Africa for 11 years. I lived in your neighbour for many years in Uganda. I know Kenya very well. You're very ambitious, obviously. Have you carried out a risk assessment? What are the key dangers to you not achieving your dream in 5 years? Because I saw your dream. You're very ambitious. But have you carried out a risk assessment?
Yes. Yes. One of the major risks that we think might happen is whether the land is irrigated or not. Crops can be affected by other things, as we know. We recently had an outbreak of the locust that destroyed a lot of seeds. Therefore, the risks in agriculture is not only in irrigation. However, at this moment, especially for the farmers that we are focusing in the semi-arid area, their biggest pain is irrigation. Therefore, we are aware of the other risks in farming and just decided, let's tackle the first big one that we can manage.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. So from Kenya, we had SowPrecise. Thank you so much. And sit back and relax now and enjoy the ride. We'll see you back later.
You.
Good luck. So we don't know what technical issues will come up with the next pitch, but probably it will be Brazil, Mabe. So please be ready to also join our Q&A later on. We will hear our next pitch right now.
Hi, the fashion industry has an urgent need to reduce its carbon emissions. 80% of a fashion brand's carbon footprint comes from materials. This is a complex issue because the development of a sustainable material takes time, money, and a lot of effort. Nowadays, there is a high demand for new materials, but little options available in the market. So, our deal is tackling the problem by selling vegan leather for the fashion accessory brands. In a B2B business model, we sell 100 square meters of leather per $5,000. The Brazilian leather goods market is massive, so our beachhead market is the accessory brands that sell bags and small goods such as wallets and belts. We want to focus on brands looking for an alternative material to cow hide leather. Revenue from this market amounts $70 million this year, and the leather goods market is expected to grow 3% a year until 2027. With that in mind, we offer a biodegradable and vegan leather with a competitive price. Compared to the price of other plant-based leathers, the brands can save up 35% by purchasing Angico leather. The main raw material is Angico pod, the fruit of a tree native to South America, found in abundance across the country. This tree is also used in reforestation projects. Within our production model, we want to partner with farmers and reforestation projects to buy Angico pods. In this way, we can generate income for local communities. We use hard technology to process the raw material and develop Angico leather. After the finishing stage, our product is ready to be sold. Angico has a natural shine without using petrochemical inputs and can be reused into the production chain. Our technology is in the patent filling process. The production of Angico uses little energy and water compared to the production of animal leather and does not require land. In the future, we want to develop micro-production hubs across the country. By talking to 38 accessory brands, we found out that the vast majority are looking for alternative materials that have good quality and good price. 70% said that the demand for vegan products has increased significantly in the last 3 years. The key drivers of our business are the product cost, today at $20 per square meter, the sales price, $50, and the scalability of our technology. Once production ramps up and we have scale, we will be able to attend more and more clients. 1,000 bags made with animal leather release 100 tons of CO2. We estimate that the carbon footprint to produce the same amount of bags with Angico will be 6 tons of CO2. So, within 3 years and with 20% of the beachhead market, we could save 24,000 tons of CO2 per year. Our team is multidisciplinary. I'm the founder and inventor of Angico leather, with a background in textile and fashion design. Clayton is the COO and has experience in green business, and Vander is the CDO with a background in chemistry. Our dream is to transform the Brazilian textile chain through a circular production model that can be replicated in different parts of the country. With 5 microfactories, we can create 2,000 jobs and save more than 70,000 tons of CO2. Thank you for your attention.
Well, thank you, Team Mabe, for your amazing pitch. Dear jury, would you like to ask a question, Janneke?
Yes, thank you. I strongly believe in plant-based alternatives for animal products that we currently use, so I'm very happy to see your innovation. I'm very curious also to learn how long do you need to get your product to the market, and what do you see as your biggest challenge?
Well, thank you for the question. I believe that our biggest challenge is to make 100% biodegradable leather. It will take around a year and between 1 year and 2 years to finish the research and development phase, and then start to produce and sell the leather.
Thank you. And is it then the biodegradability that's difficult, or just to get a strong fabric?
Yeah, actually both. We've been experimenting different inputs for getting a stronger and a durable leather material, and also looking at different kinds of ingredients that we can add and then reach all the properties that we need to start to sell the leather.
Thank you. Well, I hope you succeed.
Good luck to you. Any other questions? Do you have a question?
Yeah, thank you for a wonderful presentation. So you still need 1.5 years to complete the research. I have 2 questions on what's going to happen in 1.5 years. First of all, are you going to be able to protect this idea? And secondly, how are you going to prevent other people, since it's a widely available tree, to simply copy it in a little bit different manner?
Yes, actually, we already started. We already filled the patent, and however, we still need to improve our technology. This is the truth. All right. So basically, we are also looking at different raw materials that we can make the same leather. So in this way, we don't have to rely only on Angico pods for making this material itself.
Okay. One last question.
Are you working with investors looking to the future? I mean, have you made contacts?
Yes, this is
how is that going?
Yeah, that's true. We are working along with some investors to funding our research, and then we can speed up the process of R&D, and then be able to produce and keep our technology protected on the right time for produce and so on.
Thank you.
Perfect. One last question by you? No? Everything clear? The jury is yes? Okay. Well, thank you very much, Team Mabe. Yeah, sit back and relax, enjoy the ride. Again, we're going to head on to the next pitch, and that is Ukraine, S.Lab. Team S.Lab.
Have you ever thought that durability of packaging is hundreds of years when the products in it might be in use just a few minutes? Let's take polystyrene. Every single unit that was ever produced out of it still remains somewhere in the landfills. And even worse, it pollutes soil, oceans, and even our bodies. My name is Julia. I'm CEO and co-founder of S.Lab. In S.Lab, we produce sustainable packaging using only 2 plant-based components, which are hemp and mushroom roots. We sell natural replacement of polystyrene to the producers of beauty and self-care products for €1 per piece on average. We already have paying recurring customers that order packaging every month and bring us up to €3,000 of MRR. And also, we are working towards pilot projects with such big cosmetics brands as L'Oreal and Magic 8. Our beachhead market is producers of natural cosmetics and self-care in 6 countries. We started with Ukraine and Poland, where we gained our first early adopters and first customers. And now we are expanding to 4 more countries in Europe that are the biggest producers of natural cosmetics and self-care products. S.Lab packaging is 100% biodegradable. After the usage, it can be thrown with the rest of the garbage or with food compost, and it will fully disappear in just 30 days. Also, our packaging has the same thermal insulating and waterproof features as polystyrene. And S.Lab packaging is at the same price point as polystyrene. But of course, our packaging is much better because it will never end up on the landfills. Once mushroom root is mixed with hemp, it starts to bind or to glue everything together, and we get a very strong and reliable material. Currently, we are building an automated production line that will serve 2 goals. 1, to produce packaging, and 2, to further scale to the mini factories that will be placed in the 40-foot containers. Our material has application in other industries, like lodgements for electronics and devices, packaging for food, shoes, decor, toys, and even thermal insulating boxes for food and pharmaceutics. And our technology allows us to have other types of the material in the pipeline, like mushroom board, cardboard, leather, foam. So this means that we can replace not only polystyrene, but other harmful materials. So soon, every product that you buy will be packed into the packaging out of hemp and mushroom roots. Additionally to our existing customers, we spoke with 20 more producers in Ukraine and 10 more producers in European Union of self-care and beauty products. And our key assumption was that price is the most critical factor. But it actually appeared that customers are looking for a combination of properties, sustainability, and price in the materials. And our key takeaway is that we should focus not on the whole beauty market, but on a segment where natural components are used. We sell our packaging for €1 per piece on average, with 52% of margin. And in year 5, with 50% of beachhead market, we will get to €6 million of profit. And we know how to do that. Production and disposition of polystyrene leads to the significant CO2 emissions and water usage. It is 12 million tons of CO2 and 16 million tons of water every year. And also, 30% of worldwide landfills are covered with polystyrene. Production of S-Lab packaging will lead to 80% less CO2 emissions and will lead to 80% less water usage. And as for the landfills, it will just never get there. And even better, if our packaging is thrown into the soil, it will fertilize it. Our core team consists of 4 people. Eugene and me are 2 co-founders, and I have experience in both biotechnology and team management. And Eugene is an expert in manufacturing and knows everything about hardware technologies. Then we hired Vasil, who has worked in Leica and Autodesk in the past, and he has done industrialization of the manufacturing processes. And Dasha, who has converted a famous fashion brand to the sustainable packaging in just 6 months. We aim to replace polystyrene and earn €6 million in year 5. And the main thing is that we are united with a mission to produce and distribute a truly good packaging to every location of the world. Thank you very much. I'm Julia from S.Lab.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Julia from S.Lab. Thank you so much. Live from Ukraine. You are in our studio now. Dear jury, who would like to raise the first question? Over to you.
Hi, Julia, that's a great presentation. And you've put your finger on one of the key drivers of carbon emissions rubbish that we see every day in our towns and our cities and our villages. It strikes me that you're a little bit down the road, on the development road. You're moving pretty fast. So what's holding you back? What's the greatest constraint? You seem to have a fantastic product there, really, and can make a real difference. So what's constraining you from just taking off?
That our product, we have customers from day one, basically. We presented our sample to some friends of friends, and they already wanted to buy it and to pay us money for it. So yeah, exactly right, that we are already selling everything what we produce. And our main goal is to make this at the industrial scale. So we want to produce a lot of packaging and to really have an impact and exposure of this material instead of the polystyrene. So we are currently focused on building of the technology, not producing packaging per se. We still do that, but we are building the automated production line that will allow us to produce big scale or big amount of the material, and then of course give it to our customers. And then we also want to make this, how we want to even scale even more. We are going to put this technology to fit it into the 40-foot containers that are usually used for the shipping, but we will place our technology in it, and we will then be shipping or deploying these containers to the customer's premises. And that's where packaging will be produced. So customer will have access to the sustainable packaging at their own premises, and they will not need to, ship it and have all the trouble that is caused by that.
Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Yes, maybe following on your question, because I think at scale, if you really want to make impact at scale, the end it will be about price. What do you think is the price reduction potential of your product?
We are already at the same price point as custom designed polystyrene. So it's not even an issue for our customers. They can get a sustainable product at the same price. Of course, it's harder to compete with small pieces like nuts that are made out of polystyrene that are very cheap and made out of waste from the polystyrene production. But I think once we have also this automated production line, we will also be able to even reduce it more and have not only custom designed packaging, but this standard packaging sizes and fillings that can replace polystyrene even more.
One final question. Are you?
Yeah, maybe just a very short one. Why are you restricting yourself to the polystyrene for beauty industry market when the packaging market is so large? Sorry.
Yeah, you're exactly on target with this question, because we started with the beauty. It's like top two. The beauty market is on the second place of usage of the packaging in the world. So basically, it's also a pretty big market, but food is the number one, and then electronics is number three. So we are also targeting those markets. We want to make thermal insulating boxes for food, where they can put fish, frozen food, frozen berries, anything into those thermal insulating boxes. And of course, electronics, it's a huge market of the lodgement, of cushioning. So we are also targeting and working towards the clients in this markets as well, in this segment.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Team S.Lab, for your amazing presentation, and fingers crossed for you also today. It's time to head on to our fourth pitch of today, and that will be Kenya, Circularity Space.
Hello, my name is Eric Monene, and I am the founder and CEO at Circularity Space. I have grown up all my life next to the largest dam site in East Africa, the Dandora dam site, and I've witnessed firsthand how smoke and smell clouds classrooms in schools living around the area. In addition to this, many dams are popping up all across Nairobi, and worst of all is that diseases such as cancer is troubling the people living in my community. Africa has a big garbage problem. This is caused by the increase in population, increased consumerism, and a poor waste infrastructure. It is because of this that at my second year of university, I came up with a smart bin that is meant to turn Africa's trash into cash. We set up our smart bins in real estates, institutions, and organizations where we collect waste resources from our users. We sell the sorted waste materials in categories such as plastic, aluminium, and diapers, for example. Manufacturers and composters who pay us 80.3 euros per ton of waste, and we pay our users 16.1 euros per ton. We earn a commission of 80% from waste resource collected. We are addressing Africa's 7.6 billion euro circular economy market. Our beachhead market is Kenya, which is valued at 5 million euros as of the year 2020, and we're already drawing traction and impact from our solution. So far, we've signed 2 memorandums of understanding, and with the government pushing the Extended Producer Responsibility Act, it will see manufacturers account for the waste that they put out into the environment. By our third year of operation, our goal is to expand to the rest of East Africa, valued at 5.6 billion euros, and then by our year 5, we will be serving the whole of Africa. Our customer value proposition is that we are reducing waste pollution by up to 90%, which will see for the first time clean streets and zero landfills in Africa. For our customers, we are providing up to 70% cheaper waste resources compared to the conventional. For our customers, we are providing up to 70% cheaper waste resources compared to the conventional recovery methods. Our advantage is that we are affordable, reliable, and most importantly, closing the circular economy loop. We set up our collection points, the smart bins, in real estates, institutions, and organizations, where our users bring their waste materials to our bin. We use advanced technology so that our smart bins are able to identify, sort, and pay users for the value of waste collected. Once full, the bin notifies prospective collectors who come, empty the bin, and sends it to recyclers, manufacturers, or composters who pay the market value of this waste. What sets us apart is that we use AI for the recovery and valuing of waste, and we are filing a utility patent for the algorithm where our bin is able to value waste and match waste to their prospective buyers. In our customer discovery, we ask questions such as what are the current waste collection and disposal systems, where does waste end up, and how can we improve the current waste infrastructure. The responses that we got from 120 users and 2 pilots was that government and private collectors are the ones mandated to collect waste. Other users opt to burn their waste. Some use the abandoned buildings, streets, or rivers to dispose of their waste. 45% of waste ends up in landfills, while 20% goes unaccounted for. Only that 5% of waste is adequately recovered. Our users told us that they need a reliable waste infrastructure, one that is education-based so that they know what has value and what does not, and a cultural shift with a user incentive so that people can take time to adequately manage their waste. With just 20% of our beachhead market, we'll be making a profit of 130 million euros per year. The key drivers to this is that recyclers and manufacturers have the right capacity to handle the waste that we'll be collecting. Secondly is that we'll have low maintenance cost of our equipment and that our smart bin equipment lifespan is at least 10 years. At Circularity Space, we are all about impact, and our climate impact by just reaching 20% of our beachhead market, or an equivalent of 120,000 tons of waste, we'll be saving over 300,000 tons of CO2 emissions every year. Our founder's dream is to provide 40,000 smart bins in the sub-Saharan Africa, close Africa's circular economy gap, and achieve 130 million euros by our 5th year of operations. To achieve this is myself as founder and CEO, James Maina, Head of Hardware Engineering, Thomas Suma, our Head of Artificial Intelligence, and what we lack in experience, we get it from our advisor, Dr. Mary Muko, who is the Dean Faculty of Business and Law. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Eric, from Circularity Space and your team, of course. Let's see if there are some questions by the jury. Yes.
Thanks very much for that presentation. I know the city very well, Nairobi, and I know the rubbish issues that are there and indeed in the region, so you're really meeting a need. I suppose my question is, in terms of the infrastructure and all the smart bins, is there a real challenge in putting them in place and providing the security for them right across some of those really large poor areas? So, for example, in Nairobi, in Kampala, etc., where, you know, quite frankly, the infrastructure is very poor, the rubbish collection is very poor, there's very little rubbish collection, as you say yourself. So is that a major challenge for you? Because it seems to me that would cost a lot of money to put in all those smart bins and provide the protection for them.
Oh, thank you for the question. What we're doing differently from the current waste infrastructure is working with the local community to set up the collection points and having one of the local community members whose work is to make sure that the bin functions correctly and to just do the basic maintenance of the smart bins. So we'll be creating employment to the local communities, and on top of that, our solution isn't meant to totally replace the current systems. We'll be working in conjunction with the current waste collectors and basically improving the current waste infrastructure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have a question, Janneke?
Yes, well, it sounds fantastic, to be honest, if you can make it work. And I'm so very curious, how can you be so much cheaper than the government or private companies? Because there was quite a big difference there. And you mentioned that you use AI, but I'm quite curious, which actual cost are you then saving?
Oh, thank you for the question. Well, the current government collectors pick up waste and sends it to landfills. They pay for logistics, so transporting of the waste. They pay for maintaining the landfills. They have people whose work is just to make sure that the landfills operate correctly. And on top of that, they pay the cost of sustaining the landfills over long periods of time. So we, on the other hand, we recover, we collect sorted waste materials and send it directly to collectors and to recyclers and manufacturers. On top of that, we cut down on the logistics cost. So waste never ends up in a landfill, but instead taken to a recycler and kept in the circular economy loop. Then the use of AI and machine learning is for proper identification of waste and also to incentivize the user to bring their waste. So people bring waste to our smart bins. They earn points that they can redeem for cash or for discounts on products. Then we take this waste to recyclers and manufacturers where we make our money, our 80% commission.
Perfect. One final quick question from Marjan.
You're intending to work all over sub-Saharan Africa and in many different communities. You call it smart bins. Are they not too smart? Is it easy to operate and maintain also when you deliver them to the communities? Are they able to maintain everything by themselves?
Well, our smart bins it uses renewable energy, so it's solar powered. Once it's set up in a community, all it has to do is collect trash and send data to our remote server. So the only reason we make is so that you can properly identify, sort, and pay users for their trash.
One more sentence, because we have to cut it short, sorry.
So the smart bins are self-sustaining, and their only purpose is to identify waste, sort it, and pay users for their trash.
They don't need maintenance.
They don't need, our equipment lifespan is projected to be 10 years. So they're built to sustain the Africa environment.
Wonderful.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you, team from Circularity Space. We're going to head on to Mozambique. And the floor is yours, Team 𝐾𝐥𝐿.
UN projections indicate that by 2050, 68% of the world's population is going to live in urban areas, and stormwater management is an increasingly relevant and challenging urban issue. Climate change and urbanization contribute to increase the stormwater runoff quantities that overburden the existing drainage infrastructure in cities. In Mozambique, an already deficient drainage system gets even more compromised by solid waste obstruction. And this leads to constant flooding and stagnant water in the streets that cause material damage and disrupt the daily lives of citizens, compromising their health and productivity. I am 𝐾𝐥𝐻, and I represent 𝗨𝗿𝗂𝐁𝐵𝐴𝐶𝐻, a Mozambican startup that proposes green infrastructure and nature-based solutions as the way to go to address these challenges. We focus on bioswales, a linear drainage solution that uses soil and vegetation to manage stormwater. We aim to provide the design, construction, and maintenance of bioswales to Mozambican municipalities at a cost of €700 per linear meter. We will start in the neighborhood of Costa do Sol, a flood-prone area where 30,000 people live and where there is a potential to implement 20 kilometers of bioswale, which translates into a value of €14 million. We aim to conquer this market by 2026 and expand to other flood-prone regions of the city by 2036. By 2040, we aim to work in the entire Maputo metropolitan area and after that, other regions of the country. Compared to conventional concrete drainage infrastructure, our solution offers an implementation cost 82.5% lower and additional benefits such as the capacity to filtrate stormwater pollution, which is a big concern in stormwater management, and also to sequestrate carbon dioxide, a faster implementation, the capacity to reduce waste pollution and heat island effects, and to provide aesthetic value. And us, 𝗨𝗿𝗂𝐁𝐵𝐴𝐶𝐻, we aim to implement a corporate social responsibility program engaging with the communities where the bioswales are implemented, transferring knowledge and skills to ensure the solution's sustainability. Building on precedent studies from the universities of Brasilia and Cape Town, we developed a new bioswale typology that repurposes waste to increase pore space within the bioswale and therefore boost its performance. This solution can either be connected to conventional drainage infrastructure nearby or to water reservoirs that can improve access to water. Depending on the context, this solution can be either an alternative or a supplement to conventional drainage infrastructure. Interviews with different groups of stakeholders confirmed the awareness on the deficiency of the drainage infrastructure in Maputo and that the solid waste is the main challenge to the maintenance of this infrastructure. Municipalities also outsource the design, implementation, maintenance, and funding of drainage infrastructure in the city. And funding institutions confirmed an increasing interest in nature-based approaches that can boost the climate impact of their investments. Our financial plan foresees an annual profit of 5.8 million in the first 5 years of operation, and our key drivers are the product cost, the net price, and the market share. Our solution emits 61.5% less than conventional concrete drainage infrastructure, and this means that in 5 years of operation, we will be able to avoid 7,600 tons of carbon emissions, and we would save over 1.6 million euros in eco costs. This is our team. We have expertise in urbanism, strategic management, environmental finance, sustainability consultancy, climate consultancy, and so on. And we count with your support to implement our dreams, which are to build 20 kilometers of bioswales in the neighborhood of Costa do Sol by 2026, contributing to a safer, more resilient and sustainable and healthy neighborhood, and while sequestrating carbon dioxide and contributing to the climate action agenda.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Team 𝐾𝐥𝐿. There must be some questions. Marianne, would you like to kick off?
Yeah, a very, very interesting product. Amazingly, we also have 10 of this type of products here at the Green Village. So maybe you can have a look at our website and learn a few of the lessons there. But what is very interesting is that in this sector, in the water sector, normally the government is the client. Is that also the case in your situation? Who's going to buy your product?
Yes, we are aiming at municipalities because this is urban infrastructure, so it is the scope of the municipality. But at the same time, because the municipalities here cannot attend all the demand, we also have a lot of residents that invest their own money on improvements in their nearby areas. So eventually they could also be clients, but ultimately the municipality has to be involved because it is their scope.
Yeah, so that would be my next question. Are you already talking to them? So do you know what are their wishes and requirements before you start finalizing your product? But you're already in discussion with the municipality.
Yes, so this was the development of my thesis, and for my thesis I already had to interview representatives for the Department of Urban Infrastructure and Water Supply and Sanitation. So I already contacted these departments in the municipalities, but I've also contacted residents. So that, because it is an urban problem, it involves different stakeholders. So I tried to get some insights from different groups of stakeholders.
Perfect. Thank you. Question by you, William.
Yeah, a technical question. If you see rainfall and areas that are prone to flooding, I see in the traditional solution that there is an ability to cope with normal rainwater and move that towards the sea or a river. But there is also a situation of flash floods where the drainage is asked to cope with a lot of water, which I can see in the traditional solution. I was wondering, how does your system deal with an oversupply of water?
Yeah, so bioswales are not the solution for large amounts of flooding. They work more on the prevention side because it's part of a green infrastructure, and if you have a network that absorbs water on the spot, it reduces the amount of water that gets directed to the regular drainage infrastructure, and therefore it helps to minimize the flooding.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much. We will keep our fingers crossed for you in this global final. See you back later.
Thank you.
We're going to head on to the next team, and that will be Switzerland. Switzerland with 2D membranes. Good luck.
Hello everyone. I'm pretty sure you know about Climeworks and their pioneering efforts in carbon reduction. They're capturing the CO2 that is already in the atmosphere, but we can improve upon that and support them by capturing the CO2 at the source of emission before it reaches the environment. We are bringing to you a disruptive, energy-efficient CO2 separation technology that finally makes the carbon capture a viable option. This is Mojtaba, CEO and one of the co-founders of 2D Membranes. Switzerland is committed to the net zero emission by 2050. There are many paths towards carbon reduction suitable for different scales. For industrial CO2 emissions, I have 3 more answers: carbon capture, and carbon capture. We sell energy-efficient carbon capture units to companies with high CO2 emission to comply with the new carbon regulations at a price of €10 million for a typical 50 kiloton CO2 per year carbon capture units. We are a B2B business with Switzerland as the beachhead market due to the geographical closeness and aggressive carbon reduction goals, with a plan to expand to the €1.2 trillion global market later. Big industrial CO2 emitters such as cement, steel, gas, waste-to-energy, and paper companies are our clients with a huge existing interest. Due to our membrane-based solvent-free technology, we bring forward an innovative process eliminating the high energy consumption of solvent-based conventional units. By doing so, our clients save €4.2 million per year, utilizing our 50 kiloton CO2 per year capture unit, compared to paying the constantly raising carbon tax of their CO2 emissions, €2 million more savings compared to the conventional units. What do we exactly offer? A graphene membrane-based carbon capture unit to separate CO2 from other gases right at the source of emission, like flue gas chimneys. We can adjust the captured CO2 purity so it can be either sold to the local buyers for direct use or converted to other value-added products. We have 5 recent patents protecting the core of our technology, which are incorporation of selective pores in the graphene layer and mechanically supporting this layer in our membrane module. We interviewed a heterogeneous pool of big industrial CO2 emitters and carbon emission regulation and gas separation experts. Currently, there is no carbon emission unit installed in our beachhead market. However, there is a tremendous interest and an urgent need from clients such as GasNat, Tridel, SteelTech, and Swiss Quality Paper, to name a few. GasNat has already supported us during the fundamental development of our technology at EPFL University and is interested to help us bring our solution to the market. The deciding factor for clients in selecting a solution is its cost and energy efficiency. Capturing 40% of our beachhead market brings a profit of €120 million per year, considering the product cost of about 5 and sell price of €10 million. Clients will have their return on investment in 2 to 3 years. The product cost includes the maintenance cost of the product. Not only 3.8 million tons CO2 per year will be saved from entering the atmosphere, our technology uses about 60% less energy to do that compared to the solvent-based conventional units, resulting in an even higher climate impact. We are a spin-off of EPFL University, PhDs and scientists bringing our innovative solution to the market with help of legal and business expert team members. 40 students at EPFL, supervised by 5 professors and 6 more scientists, headed by Professor Agrawal, who is the world leader of graphene-based gas separation, are actively working on advancing our technology, which will ensure maintaining our superior performance in future too. I know that we sound like techie geeks for now, but thanks to the Climate Launchpad, we are learning more about the business side to become entrepreneurs, raise money, build a diverse team, and put our innovation on its path to the market. We dream to achieve the valuation of €600 million by 2027 while becoming the dominant carbon capture solution in Switzerland. And by going global, we desire to have a significant impact on climate change. On behalf of 2D Membranes team, I thank you for your attention and remind you of my 3 efficient answers to post-combustion CO2 emissions: carbon capture, and carbon capture.
Well, thank you, Team Switzerland 2D Membranes. First question to you, Brendan.
Thanks for a great presentation. I must say, I'd never heard of the term carbon capture until about 2 years ago. And then I was told about the carbon capture trees that are appearing in the United States, and that you can take carbon out of the atmosphere, etc., and bury it or use it. So it seems an amazingly easy solution. So I'm still learning about it, and this is the first time I've heard about the membranes. I mean, what strikes me is bringing this to market and scaling up, and the amount of investment that is necessary. Where are you on that ladder of carbon capture, carbon capture, carbon capture?
Exactly, that's a very good question. So we are already planning a demonstrator within the 4 months. We are going to have a demonstrator installed that we are going to get the real flue gas from our partner GasNet in their industrial plant. And then with that, we are going to get more fundings to be able to have our 1 kiloton pilot plant, and from there for the product. So we are already in a very good position, I think.
Okay, so we're scaling. That will be the second. A question by you, maybe, Janneke?
Yes, you mentioned that you can strengthen partly like Climax to not capture the CO2 from the air, but from flue gases. But do you also need them, or can you operate by yourself? I mean, or do you depend on partners to bring your technology to the market?
Sure. So capturing from the atmosphere or capturing from flue gases are two different types of technology. So at first, we're going to focus on using these membranes to capture on flue gases, so directly selling a product to our consumers, to our businesses we're partnering with. So you can put directly our membrane to the exit of the chimney, so then don't need any other product. But then we're also, like in our product backlog, we're also developing a system where we can use our membranes to also capture CO2 from the atmosphere. And this is where we're also taking part in the XPRIZE carbon removal competition, where we got selected in the top 60 technologies, which also proves that these membranes has a potential for direct air capture. So our technology alone could be used for both.
Okay, perfect. Question by you, William?
Yeah, I do not know if you guys have a lot of trouble dealing with the naysayers, but and there's only one answer possible to these questions. Are you guys going to be the first ones to actually commercialize and be successful in using graphene in a commercial product?
Yes, exactly. So this is our point.
20 years of promise, finally a product. Thank you very much, guys.
Perfect.
Thank
Marianne,
you.
do you have a last question maybe for this team?
Yeah, I think you also hear a lot of people saying, why capture? Why not reuse? Make sure you don't use too much CO2. How do you deal with this kind of discussions?
Sure. So we had this discussion so many times. So, and this is proven like by the latest IPCC report. So the idea is we need to reduce emissions. So it's the biggest chunk that humanity needs to do, and it's reducing 90% of emissions. But capturing CO2 comes in addition to the reduction of emissions. So if you want to meet the Paris Agreement, carbon capture become inevitable. Also, there is some industries, like for example, for post-combustion, there is some industry that just can't reduce emissions. So for example, the steel industry or the paper industry, CO2 is just a byproduct of their production. So the only solution for them for now is capturing CO2. So there is no other solution.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Team Switzerland with 2D membranes. We'll see you back later. It's time for Tanzania. We're going to head on to Team Waga.
Hi, I was born in a village where electricity was a challenge, so we had to travel over 32 miles to reach charging stations. When I went for my university studies, with over 52 universities and 122,000 students, we all had to have laptops. And the batteries kept on dying, increasing to the number of trash. But I found out that I can transform them into useful battery packs that can power homes. I'm Gibson Kawago from Waga. So at Waga, we have women and youth battery collectors who get paid $1.5 per kilogram. And the batteries are broken down, plastics are separated, sent to a recycling center, and the lithium-ion cells are sorted, spot well together to have functional battery packs. These battery packs are rent to local homes and shop owners at only $0.3 per day, and after 5 months, they fully own the battery packs. Here are the people waiting for their problems to get solved. 61 million people in Tanzania, 22 million live in urban areas where electricity is unreliable and they use as backup. And 39 million people live in rural areas where there's low access to the grid, so they use to power up their homes. Our beachhead market has the rural population in Iringa region over 940,000 people who use our battery packs to power up their homes. Currently, waste collectors get only $800 per ton of the waste collected, while collecting our laptop batteries for WAGA, they get paid over $1,900 per ton, which increases their income by 53%. And the cost of electricity per household per year currently is over $1,488. And with your WAGA battery packs, they only pay $108 per household per year, which cuts their cost by 93%. Our battery packs do not have smoke as the generators. We create jobs to women and youth, and we have powered over 5 local homes and 25 households here. Our batteries are efficient as we use lithium-ion battery technology. Here are our products. These battery packs can power a home up to 15 hours in a single charge. And our solar lamps can power up to 13 hours of lighting under a single charge. And these battery packs, the power banks, can charge a mobile phone 4 times from 0 to 100%. We had interviewed 50 people in rural areas in Iringa, and our key assumption was low-income people cannot afford lithium-ion battery packs. And our key learning, we found that they are willing to purchase, and now we have so many orders than what we can give. And we thought they are user-friendly, as the petrol generators that they use have smoke and noise, and ours do not produce that. And we asked them, they said they feel well to use the environmentally friendly local-made battery packs. And we thought that they need fast charging so that they can reduce time to stay under solar. And they said, wow, they want to charge for a short time and use for a long time. Having a market share of 45% of our beachhead market, each product costing $48, we make a profit per year over $500,000. And in 5 years, we are going to hit $2.5 million. In 2018, only 89% of the carbon dioxide emissions came from fossil fuels. And in Tanzania, every year we produce 2.3 million tons of carbon dioxide. And our beachhead market produces over 35,000 tons per year. But we use innovative technology and saving up to 70% of the carbon dioxide emissions. Here is a team dedicated to solve this problem. I'm Gibson Kawago, who has been working on solar and lithium-ion battery technologies for over 4 years, and I've been a manager for the first STEM Park Science Center in Tanzania. And Edgar Tarimo is an experienced environmentalist and public relations officer who has been working on recycling plastic since 2018. Emmanuel Lamek has been the manager for the CRDB Bank and now is our finance officer. Here is our dream. We want to create affordable, reliable battery packs from repurposed laptop batteries with less impact on the environment, and we want to accelerate the transition to clean energy in Tanzania by 80% by 2027. And we want to manufacture our own bikes and electric cars in the next 5 years. Climate crisis is a global problem. Let's join our hands and fight it. Let's transform from trash to clean energy. We are WAGA, and thank you.
Wow, Gibson, thank you so much, and Team WAGA, for your energy, because it was like very vibrant here in the studio today live. First question, Brendan.
Well, Gibson's getting a lot of that energy from the battery pack, so it's great to hear that. I know your country very well. I've traveled in it extensively. Look, can I ask you, I mean, Tanzania doesn't have a fantastic reputation in terms of being business friendly, right? I mean, it comes from kind of a one-party state, etc. Government is very much in charge, etc. So how do you find it working as a private entrepreneur? How do you find the supports of government? And what are the major challenges that you have in going to scale in a vast country like that where transportation is not great?
Thank you so much. So first of all, I'm working with the community, and I have been in the village and I've done a research looking at what pain the people have and what solution they need. So right now, like, this solution is really needed by the people. And even now, the government is now transitioning from the solutions that pollute the environment to the clean solution. So I've had enough support from different government officials right now, and even different NGOs are now supporting. So I've seen a clear future in front of me.
Full of confidence.
And are you getting the investment you need? Are you? I mean, are you making $500,000 a year? That's a lot of money in Tanzania. You're there now, are you?
Yes, I'm here in Tanzania.
Well done.
Perfect. William, question from you.
Yeah, just a quick one. Are you selling this as a capex? Are you selling them or are you renting them to your customers? The battery packs.
Yes, I'm renting them, so they are paying as they are used. Then after 5 months, they fully own, so it can be their own. I unlock the battery packs.
Okay, but aren't you afraid that this is actually quite a busy market in East Africa? There's very many different companies trying to get a piece of that pie of renting energy equipment to those who are not connected to the grid.
That's a very beautiful question. Right now, I have about 5 companies that are already working on this, and they are requesting me to do a research on their batteries if I can repurpose. So as I'm focused on repurposing batteries to create the solution, my solution is going to be more affordable because I'm reusing the lithium-ion batteries more than manufacturing the ones.
Thank you.
Okay. Janneke, a question for 𝐀𝐥𝐮𝐬?
Yes, I was wondering, basically you're recycling or repurposing the battery packs, and what happens at the end of life of the recycled battery packs? What's the end of life solution?
Even right now, I've partnered with different companies. I can't do this alone. I have different companies in China, Indonesia, and the US whom I've talked to them and I've shared, in case I have so many lithium-ion batteries at the end of their life for recycling, then I can transport them and they will pay me, so it will be another source of revenue.
Okay, so he's also looking at the step after. Well, thank you so much, 𝐀𝐥𝐮𝐬, and good luck to you also in this global grand final. See you later.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So in Holland we have a saying, it's called 3 maal scheepsrecht. I don't know how to translate, but it's something like the 3rd time it will be a blast. Because I hope that we will now get Team France on the screen, but we never know. So please give it up to France from sand to green.
Do you know that each year we're losing 10 million hectares of forests because of agriculture to feed an ever-growing population? In the same time, aridification of soil and desertification impact 13 million hectares mainly because of climate change. Hi, my name is Ben, we're Sand to Green and we cultivate deserts. To do so, we provide our agroforestry plantation as green investment. This investment, held under SPV, mandates Sand to Green to set up and operate agroforestry plantation in arid areas. Those plantations generate revenue thanks to food, biofuel, and carbon credits. The profits and impact are redistributed to the investors and Sand to Green. This model is the one used by renewable energies to face a situation with high capex and low operating expenses. Our beachhead market is the regenerative agriculture investment market. Because of the growing awareness and consequences of global warming, and because agriculture is one of the major sectors on which we can have an impact according to the IPCC, the global regenerative agriculture market is projected to accomplish significant growth. Our nature-based solution has among the best return on investment on the market, between 12 and 22% depending on the size of plantations. But it has also many positive impacts. Those impacts generated such as carbon capture, biodiversity increase, water savings, soil regeneration, food resilience, and social welfare allow us to sell our carbon credits at a much higher price. But you must wonder, how can we cultivate deserts? Our solution is divided into 3 bricks. A unique agroforestry model, the result of 3 years of R&D and collaboration with scientists across the globe from CGR and CIRAD. Our patented model not only integrates satellite analysis and the best combination of trees, but also modelize the profit and needs for our plantation, as well as a carbon capture. Our second bricks is a small-scale desalination units with brine management that are bringing water to our plantation. And those 2 bricks feed the third one, our sustainable agroforestry plantation that regenerate ecosystem while generating revenue in the same time. After 3 years of experimentation, we not only managed to grow trees in desert and produce food, but we also succeeded into improving our soil conditions. You can see on the slide the increase of vegetation from satellite images and from pictures on the ground. We conducted more than 200 interviews among our upstreams and downstream customers to have their insight. And we found out that investors are looking to decarbonize their assets and are searching for multi-impact projects with good return on investment. Food wholesalers are looking to increase local product and food resilience in their arid countries. CO2 emitters must comply with COP21 legislation and are looking for more carbon credits to compensate their emission by 2030. Finally, biofuel producers have to increase their production without doing deforestation, neither competition to arable lands. Our green investment project, represented as a 20-hectare agroforestry plantation, generates significant revenue with only 1% of market share, with more than 6.5 million profit per year. The key driver to increase this revenue is the size of our plantation, our market share, as well as the time before investors buy new plantation. We have an impact on climate because we absorb more CO2 than any other agricultural system. But we also have a positive impact on water, as we do not use fresh water from the aquifer, but we produce fresh water from an undesired resource. Finally, our agricultural system is the one that has the more diversity in terms of species. We are bringing back biodiversity into arid lands. Our team is composed of smart and ambitious women and men from various countries. Some of them have already reforested more than 1,500 hectares in desert. This team is dedicated to franchise our model to feed the growing population with a sustainable production system.
Well, thank you so much for pitching at last. Welcome in the studio, Benjamin. It's great having you here. First question of the jury. Brendan?
Well, that's magic, I have to say. Turning a desert into arable land is magic. We did a little bit of it in northern Ethiopia using certain water techniques, etc. Look, what you're saying would change the world, really, in many respects. I suppose my question is translating all of that into business models and the work that companies will carry out. So in other words, that's at the macro level, it seems to me. So how would we see that working? Is it one business franchises one part of your research, and they buy bits of your research? I'm not clear of the transmission technology to have that happen underground, investors making money, making profits, and seeing the changes happening. That's the challenge.
Okay, thank you for the question. So basically, it's been 3 years we've been running some tests and we did good. So we said, okay, we need to scale up, and to scale up, we need to find a nice business model. This is how we came up with the SPV business model. So now we are currently doing a plantation for other people, so we can avoid to spend all the money to set up the plantation, and we are just operators of farm. And for the future, what we want to do is to give the model to the farmers, because right now carbon credits are only benefiting to the big players, not to the small one. So we want to structure the business and the model so well that we could export it to the farmers so they can follow the model, and we deal with the carbon credits for them.
Thank you.
Okay. Question from Janneke?
Yes, thank you. I think we need lots of people like you, but there's already also some companies out there doing similar things. I know at least 2 in the Netherlands. You must know multiple around the globe. So what have you learned from the models and plan of attack of the other companies?
Do you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry?
Yes. So there have been many other businesses doing the same, or putting together the same model as ours. But what we've seen is that nobody has been tackling semi-arid and arid area in the scale that we want to do. So this is why we conducted research and development for many years in our area, because this is new. Doing regenerative agriculture in the desert in a sustainable way is something that we need to experience and experiment, and this is what we did to create our model to be deployed on a big scale.
Thank you. William, do you have one final question, like a very quick one?
Yeah, a very quick one. You say that the capex is high, and you put the whole thing into an SPV, but what you're basically doing is farming. So where does the high capex sit? I would see it as high OPEX, not as high CAPEX.
Good question. It's pretty low OPEX because we're evolving in I would say, not that developed country. So the workforce is not as expensive as it could be in Europe, but the CAPEX is coming mainly from the desalination machine, because if you don't have water, you're not going to cultivate anything in desert. So this is why the CAPEX are important, and this is why we came up with this SPV business model.
But then just to ask, so if the capex sit in the desal equipment, how are you going to make sure that you make money if the irrigation that you're going to do is based on desalination? That seems a little bit like putting the horse behind the cart.
Very quick answer, because we are already headed towards the next.
Yes, there's a criteria for carbon credits, which is called additionality, that you have to prove that without carbon credits you cannot do the project. And this is why we're using carbon credits. We are allowed to use carbon credits because without these carbon credits we could not compensate the price of desalination. And yeah, I totally agree about carbon capture, but do it with nature-based solution.
Okay.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being here, and please enjoy your ride. We'll see you back later with the announcement of the Global Grand Final. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've been traveling virtually around the world. There was France, there was Kenya, there was Brazil, Ukraine, Kenya again, Mozambique, Switzerland, and Tanzania. And we were incredibly impressed by all of your pitches so far. We are now halfway of our 16 finalists, so later on the second round of 8 pitches will be here live in our studio. First of all, I think it's time for a little break, so you can stretch your... Welcome back, everyone. I hope you grabbed your little drink and you did whatever you had to do to be back here at this moment. I am standing here together with Chris. Chris Rowe, he's a strategic program orchestrator. That sounds amazing, you know? I immediately think of music and, no?
Very nice.
You orchestrating, what does that mean?
It's a very good question.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I work for Climate-KIC,
yes.
So one of the partners responsible for this program, and do a lot of work in designing, building, growing, scaling programs that support early stage entrepreneurs. So that's the work that I do. So
Perfect.
Really supporting entrepreneurs through the pathway as they grow their business.
So you must be very proud to have like 3 amazing graduates from the Climate Launchpad program here. They are live here with us. First of all, we have Michaela Stefan. Welcome. You're from Austria and from the Climate Launchpad team of 2021. And you are co-founder and CMO at Matter. We will hear more about that later. We have Narayan Lal Gurjar from India. Welcome. You are from the 2019 Climate Launchpad team, and you are CEO of EF Polymers. Also, we will hear more about you later. And hey, that is a person we already met before, one of our jury members. Welcome here. William, on the flip side, we already mentioned you are one of also the finalists from 2014 from the ClimateLaunchpad program a few years back. You are CEO from Desalinator. Thank you for joining us on the other side. Chris, do you have maybe like a question for one of the alumni?
Yeah.
What would you ask them?
Over to me for the questions. I think there's what's really nice about this panel that we've got with the alumni is we've got 3 different organizations from different parts of the world in different sectors and at different stages of maturity. So what I'll try and do is ask the same question to all of you. We're short on time, but I've got 5 questions to get through. So perhaps we'll go in the order that we've just been introduced, so starting with you, Michaela, but it'd be great to just hear a little bit more about your business and where it is at this moment in time. Obviously, it's been a while since Climate Launchpad, so it'd be great to get an understanding of your business and where you are today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Really excited to be here. So as mentioned, I'm Michaela. I'm co-founder of Matter, and we are an award-winning circular economy startup based in Vienna. And we offer an innovative mattress-as-a-service solution for hotels that's fully embedded in circular economy principles. And yeah, we took part in Climate Launchpad last year. We won the European finals and we won the global circular economy finals. So it was a really amazing time for us. And to now be here a year later as a founded company with our first investment secured, our first customers onboarded, it's a really proud moment for us. And we are big CLP fans. So happy to be here.
Nice.
Wonderful. So yeah.
We're going to head to William?
Over to William next.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or Narayan? Well, let's choose.
Let's go with William.
Let's go with
first.
William.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Happy to jump in. My name is William, co-founder and CEO of Desalinator. Our company is a solar desalination company. So the company focused on providing desalination capacity to places where that is required. And the company has been around for a few years. We just finished building a big plant in Dubai, and that's where I was this week. So I just got back to join this program.
Wow, amazing, amazing. And then we're going to head to India. Narayan.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm Narayan, founder and CEO of 𝐿𝐴 Polymer Private Limited. And what we are doing, we are making organic biodegradable polymer from the bio-waste to help farmers to grow their crop in the 40% less water. And during the Climate Launchpad in 2019, we are at a prototype stage. And after that, now already we impacted more than 10,000 farmers in India and Japan, and we're recycling 600 ton bio-waste every year. And yeah, now we are operating in India and Japan, both 2 countries.
Wow, that is the impact that we were aiming for, right? In the prior conversation.
Yeah. Thanks all for your introductions. And as I said before, so different. And this is, I think, one of the really beautiful things about Climate Launchpad is the sort of breadth and depth of innovations that we see. Yeah, so the next question is really, we know that entrepreneurship or building your startup is not a straight line. Many ups and downs along the way. Lots of interesting aspiring entrepreneurs listening in. So we'd love to hear kind of, yeah, some of your latest successes, things that you are really proud of, but also on the other side, some of the challenges that you faced and, you know, as you've grown your startups or are trying to grow your startups.
Yeah, happy to jump in again in the same order.
Yeah.
So from our side, a highlight would definitely be the securing first customers moment. I actually vividly remember during last year's Climate Launchpad Global Finals when the moderator said, you know, startups are not just all about winning these fancy pitch competitions, it's about getting those first customers on board to buy your product or service. And when I heard that back a year ago, I felt it was impossible to even imagine at that point, you know, and here we are 1 year later with that exact milestone reached. So it just shows you it is possible. And I think that has been a real highlight for us as a founding team. You know, we're only a team of 2 at the moment. We just onboarded our first employees today, so another huge highlight. And it's by no means been an easy road. So to answer your second part of the question, a challenge would definitely be our team. We originally, very transparently, were 3 co-founders. And as everybody mostly knows, the main reason a lot of early startups fail is due to founder team issues. And we unfortunately
Adolfo co-founder leave, and that was quite a challenge for us, but we've managed to overcome it. We are now a founded company, as I mentioned, and we have our first investment on board as well. So lots of downs, but many, many ups.
Congratulations. And Narayan, do you recognize that? How is it for you?
Yeah, so for us, it's also like we choose the very drought affected area in India, like Bundelkhand region. And we thought if we can prove ourselves in this area, maybe in the world we can prove in many different areas. So it's very difficult for us to, like, farmer condition is also poor. And if you are bringing new technology in this area to saving the water, and you are talking about to save water, because ultimately they not pay for water. But we choose this area because we thought it's mostly drought affected area, and if we can prove. And it's take time because initially it's very difficult to convince the farmer about the new technology. But in 1 year, 2 year over effort, today those farmers are coming us and asking repeated order from many farmers. And I think, yeah, today in all this area, farmer increasing 20% yield, even they are giving like 40% less water. So this impact is very, yeah, exciting us to expand more and more.
Okay. And William, what is your proudest moment so far?
Yeah, proudest moments. I just wanted to share a story about the ability to deal with what gets thrown at us. A customer walked in and he was willing to pay for what we do, but he said, "We want to have it, but we want to have it 1,000 times bigger than you're currently delivering it." So the ability to pivot is definitely important. But another thing that I need to say is we're trying to do something for the planet here. We're trying to develop technology that is hardware, and hardware is harder, as they say. Being able to make the money that you have last is a very important thing to remember as you go forward.
Thank you.
That's three very great answers and different answers. And yeah, for me, I mean, William, you've sort of perfect segue to the next question, which is around pivots and changes. And obviously, I think over time, your business doesn't necessarily look as it did when you were here presenting or pitching to Climate Launchpad that while ago. I'm really interested, and you also mentioned impact there. And so what's your experience you've had in terms of changes to the business model, but still staying true to the impact that you seek, the values and the mission that you have as an organization? We'd love to hear examples of those changes and how you deal with the need for impact still and presumably commercial return.
Who would like to kick off? William.
Yeah, I'll continue on the point where I was. When someone asks you to build a product 1,000 times bigger, then you simply have to go back to the drawing board and see what you have. For us, it was a very lucky opportunity because we were able to maintain our core patent, which provided the basis of everything we do in solar desalination. But we were able to expand it with 2 additional patents, and for us that was of course a great opportunity. So having the ability to be, as a startup, to be flexible and to be agile and to be able to move quickly is definitely something that we embrace and that we try to keep as a core aspect of our company.
And is that similar in India? Did you already manage to make a lot of changes along the way ever since you graduated from this program?
Yeah, for us is also like, because we are in India, the climate condition and the raw material availability is completely different. But when you are moving also like another countries, so you face similar kind of challenge, the raw material different and those kind of climatic condition different. So we are also flexible, and I think we build our technology that so we can create a circular economy model in the country or in the region. So I think that's where how we aligning our solution, not dependent only in the one raw material. So whenever we are going in another country or region, try to utilize local raw material and build the product.
Okay, and Michaela? It's been a year, but there has been some changes already.
Yeah, 1 year and already some 360 turns, that's for sure. With our product design in particular, we had to do a 360. We wanted to use particular materials, but they were not going to work for our circular economy model. So we really had to go back to the drawing board a few times for our mattress design. That was very much impact driven for us because everything we do is around designing out waste and trying to cut our CO2 emissions as much as possible as a company. So for that, our values were essentially our guiding star because everything we built was to maintain those values of being circular economy based as a company. So it wasn't so easy, to be honest, but I think that's where the whole argument of put your values where your mouth is, you know, get things done with how you say you're going to do it, and that's exactly what we've done so far. We still also are testing our business model very transparently. We have a rental model, requires a lot of financial backbone that we're trying to work out. So that's still very much an open to do for us, and we might have to pivot there. Let's see. We're still testing with customers on that one.
I hear flexibility, and also like it's also a good thing going back to the drawing board every now and then to look at everything fresh, renewed, and then change the course. Yeah, thank you. One last question, Chris?
Yeah, we had two, but I knew it was going to be tight, so maybe we can roll two into one. I mean, one, of course, all the startups pitching today are interested in the difficult nut to crack in terms of investment. Any advice you have there in terms of perseverance, maybe one, but yeah, how you're going about that, and then
one question I said.
Okay,
one question.
That's the main question. The last one is just a little bit of a tip for those pitching still. What's your one takeaway piece of advice that the startups pitching today?
One tip, one piece of advice for everyone.
Okay.
Let's kick off with Team India.
Yeah, so I think for investor, because if you are raising any fund, they look more initially first investment on your team strength as well as how much you prove in terms of a customer traction. So if you have this, I think investor will come to you. You not need to worry. So just focus on to prove yourself or technology.
Show what you bring to the table, and then the money will come. Thank you, William. One final tip, remark for the startups.
I'll have a very quick tip for looking for investors. If you engage with investors, it is an unequal power balance. They have all the money, they have all the power, and you're just asking for money, and you have no power. But there is one thing you need to do while talking to investors, and that is you need to separate yourself from the time wasters. And there are enormous amount of time wasters out there. Immediately set a deadline and tell them, listen, we did the pitch, we did everything you asked. When can we hear an answer from you? And if they say it's going to be in 2 months' time, move on and forget about them, and keep it snappy.
Yes, the time is now. Like, let's not postpone. Thank you. Michaela, one last.
Yeah, my advice was going to be exactly the same as William's. That's really funny. So I'll finish with a quick tip for everyone pitching today. It's be confident and don't worry if you don't have everything figured out yet. I remember last year I got asked how much does our mattress cost to produce, and at this point we didn't even have a mattress. So, you know, just go with the flow and believe in your idea and show that passion of what you're trying to create and the impact you're trying to create, and you will somehow work it out as you go.
Amazing. Thank you so much. It's great, right? Hearing all these amazing success stories. Thank you, because you embody everything that we are aspiring all as entrepreneurs, of course. So thank you tuning in today with us. I think it's about time. Yes, see you, bye. It's about time, I think, to head on to the next round of pitches. There will be 8 more pitches, and we will do it in the same setting as we were used to. So 5-minute pitches, and then 3 minutes of Q&A with our live jury here in the studio. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the first pitch, and that is from the United Kingdom, Team 5.
Hello everyone. What you're seeing on the screen is made out of potato stems. This is our game-changing solution to the growing emissions of the fashion industry and the increasing pressures on the world's food production systems. Today, I'll be presenting our new venture, FIBE, specifically how we, along with multinational fashion brands and leading researchers, are developing the world's most sustainable textiles. The deal is fairly simple. Starting with UK farms, we purchase their otherwise useless potato stems and transfer them to our factories to be converted into textile fibers. The fibers are then sold to fashion brands and their associated manufacturers, who convert them to garments and accessories. Once optimized, we aim to sell fibers for around $1,400 per ton, similar to cotton and polyester, which make up the majority of the industry's emissions. Together, we have a business that provides farmers with new income streams, creates accessible, sustainable options for the fashion industry, all while promoting food farming. We have identified our beachhead market as supplying the non-synthetic fibers for major outdoor brands, specifically for their casual wear lines, which would need less stringent performance requirements from our textiles. Working with major outdoor brands is the perfect starting point for us, as they have the funds and incentive to take risks on novel materials such as ourselves. The market is already worth $28 million, and we hope to grab at least 20% of it within our 4th year. Working with this beachhead market also acts as a pilot for the rest of the industry, allowing us to easily expand to the biggest polluters, fast fashion, in our 5th year.
We believe Five is the most attractive proposition on the market. Firstly, it is price competitive with market dominators cotton and polyester, and far cheaper than leading upcoming eco-textiles such as hemp. This enables fashion brands to meet their sustainability targets without huge transition costs. By unlocking the economic value of this waste product, we are able to provide hard-working farmers with another revenue stream in a time of rising food insecurity. Our system has the ability to support agricultural workers anywhere in the world. Simply put, our product is the first textile fiber extracted from potato stems. Potato stems cannot be fed to livestock and are risky to compost due to being poisonous and susceptible to blight respectively. This leads to around 254 million tons of it being discarded each year around the world. This is enough to supply over 60% of the world's clothing. To get the fibers from this huge inexpensive waste stream, we apply our cutting-edge biological and mechanical process. The only waste here is fertilizer. By prototyping this method and producing spun and woven samples, we have validated it is zero waste, scalable, and creates durable, soft, and antimicrobial textile fibers.
Over the last few months, we've spoken to various brands, manufacturers, and experts to understand our market. The fashion supply chain is incredibly complex, so one of our main aims was to verify that we've chosen the right beachhead market. We confirmed that major outdoor brands such as Patagonia and the North Face will be our key partners to enter the market, as they have the incentive to incorporate novel materials. Due to their more expensive product lines, they have the ability to work with higher priced materials, which will be vital in our 1st year in the market. The public has also shown willingness to pay 40% more for 5 t-shirts after hearing our story. As proof of the industry's interest, we've already been granted $10,000 by such a brand in order to support our product development. Year 5 of our beachhead market will see Five make profits of $1 million with $6.3 million in revenue. Our ability to make these profits is based on the order size of each of our fashion partners. It is also highly based on our ability to reduce the cost of our processing so that our material is competitively priced. Finally, it's affected by the market share we can obtain through effective sales and marketing, which we identify to be a major expense for us.
Sustainability has been the key driver behind our innovation. Although we work with a waste stream, the crop in itself outperforms cotton, using 90% less land, 96% less water, and saving 94% CO2 equivalent compared to polyester. As well as being sustainably processed, the extracted fibers are biodegradable and can be recycled. In 2027, we will reach 20% of the beachhead market. That year 5 will save enough land to feed 16,400 people, enough water for 19 million people, and 81,000 tons of CO2 equivalent. In addition, we will provide $3.8 million in revenue to UK farmers. Our impact scales hugely once we address fast fashion companies. Supplying just 1% of the industry will reduce CO2 emissions by 14 million tons without compromising user experience or garment quality.
Five is made out of 4 multidisciplinary design engineering students coming out of Imperial College London. The project began as a university submission, but our ambition to solve the environmental challenges of agriculture and fashion has motivated us to develop this into an enterprise following our graduation. We have a dream to create the world's most sustainable textile and to one day bump into people wearing them on the street. We hope this project can spark a career of social entrepreneurship for all of us. Over the next few months, we'll be rolling our $60,000 Innovate UK project to create the first high-fidelity prototype of our material. We would welcome any support to help us cover the initial cost of our machinery. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll be happy to answer any questions now.
Well, thank you, Team 5, and welcome in the studio. A first question by the jury. Janneke.
Yes, well, it sounds like you need quite some processing equipment to produce your fibers from, you know, the stem to purification, milling, cleaning, dewatering, I don't know what you need. How much investment do you need to, let's say, build a factory? I don't know what your plan is, but...
Yeah, I mean, that's an excellent question. I think it's one of our key problems going forward, just like with any R&D company. So the 50K grant that we've just gotten from Innovate UK should get us enough to kind of prove the concept, and that'll be enough to get us a lab space, a few small scale equipments. But really, we are looking to raise around £500,000 in order to create like a whole set of machineries that we'll need in the lab scale. We're also outsourcing a lot of stuff. So, for example, we know that we can't afford to get a mill to do our processing. So we're working with Leeds University where we send them our samples and then they can process it there. But one of the key problems that we have at the moment is that some of these grants only cover the depreciation costs of the machines. So by applying to competitions like this, we're able to kind of raise money for the upfront capital expenditure.
Thank you. William?
Yeah, my question is a very practical, logistical one. You're going to be inundated with potato leaves once a year. And then what are you going to do with all these leaves the rest of the year if you build a plant? Logistically, I think you're... Tell me how.
Yeah, so I can go ahead and answer this one. So essentially, we're working with a big agricultural partner. They're called 𝐀𝐥𝐮𝐦𝐧𝐢. They process 75%, they harvest 75% of the potatoes in the UK. And what this process is called de-leafing. So essentially, they're developing a machine that we're going to pilot with them in the next summer. And that's going to de-leafing, so we'll remove the leaves. And they've told us that it's completely okay to just leave them on the farm. And then we collect the stems, and then the leaves kind of go back into the ground.
Thank you. Do you have any question, Marianne?
Yeah, but then the collection of the stems, how are you going to do it? You need another machinery, right?
So the way it will work is essentially this machine. So when a farmer is collecting the potatoes, they have a stage where they cut the stems, or they apply they essentially dehydrate them. So the machine that we would create would be a machine that would replace the one that would cut them. So essentially it would cut them and collect them all in one go. So from the farmer's perspective, it's the same amount of steps, but it's an additional income stream at no additional expense. And then in terms of creating lots of new machines, what we can also trial, so we're in conversation with 𝐀𝐥𝐮𝐬𝐧𝐢 to see the best way of doing this. But another potential opportunity is we could have a subcontractor, and the subcontractor could go from farm to farm doing this process. So when we spoke to farmers about potentially having subcontractors at their farm, it's something they were very happy to do. For them, the main thing is getting an additional income stream and finding something for this waste, which currently they can't do anything with.
Okay, thank you so much. So good luck later on this afternoon with the announcement of the winner of the Global Grand Final. We're going to head on to team number 2 of this second round, and that is Turkey. We have the team of biopoles, so please give it up for their pitch.
Hello, my name is Sena Atem and I'm the founder of Biopoles. In Biopoles, we are working on biopolymer-based food packaging systems that extends the shelf life of food. Our deal is we are offering biodegradable and shelf life extending packaging for 7 years per 100 pieces of coated packaging to butchers, meat producers, also supermarket chains that have deli corners. Our product is applicable for all types of food, but we're currently working on the meat products as they have the highest carbon footprint among all other types of food. Therefore, we do not have an option to waste meat, and also the meat waste is not repurposed or reused for any other thing as well. So that's the main issue, and therefore we are working on meat packaging. And our beachhead market is the European meat packaging market, where we are aiming 30% of the market cap with 9,000 customers. So our solution reduces meat waste to 1/3 while extending the shelf life twice when compared with the current styrofoam plate solution. And it only costs slightly a little bit more than the current solution, but we are using no petrochemical plastics, and we are also repurposing food waste, which I will explain in very briefly shortly. So our product has two components. The first component is antibacterial and antioxidant biopolymer coating, where we extract a polymer from mushrooms, and then we enrich the content with rosemary, sage, and thyme extracts to give it antibacterial and antioxidant properties. Then we are applying this coating on environmentally sustainable packaging materials such as cardboard, paper, bioplastics, also textile as well. Here on the left upper side you see the film itself. On a little bit down in the middle of the slide you see the paper version. On left you see the textile version, and on the bottom this is the mock-up for our upcoming bioplastic trays, which again we are planning to have no plastic, no petrochemical plastics in it. We are also following a circular model where we make use of mushroom waste of the food processing industry, as well as other food waste where we grow yeast and mold, and we are also extracting that biopolymer from yeast and mold, as they're also fungi. And then we are using the basic residues of the extraction processes, so we are wasting nothing in this process. When it comes to our customer discovery activities, on the short term, we visited 23 local butcher shops. Also, we contacted with the Turkey's largest supermarket chain, Migros. We contacted with Nebyan, a very sustainable and responsible meat producer. Also, İztarım, İzmir Municipality sub-company for meat and dairy production, and also some agricultural practices. They're all very much interested, and we are currently continuing with our work. What we tested was that that market needed this product, and the results of our discovery activities show that well. Our aim is to reach a yearly profit of around 400 million, where we have cost product advantage. So when it comes to our climate impact, we are reducing by changing styrofoam plates to biopolymer coated paper. In a year, we are reducing 1,300,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide, which exactly means removing 70,000 cars from the traffic. Our team has two chemists, also one communication specialist, and one person for sales and marketing. We also have two professors, advisors, who are helping us with the technical issues. Our dream is to replace 1 billion plastic packaging in the 5 years, and we are planning to reach 100 countries by 2030, and we are planning to save lives of 1 million cattle by 2030. Keep smart, keep fresh. Thank you for listening. This is Biopulse.
Thank you, team Biopulse, and welcome here in the studio. A first question, Brendan.
Wow, that's a great ambition, I have to say. We all know the problems of food waste, not to mention packaging, and you know, you're really ambitious. It's great to see that. Have you done any risk assessment in terms of the competition? Because I would have thought this is a very crowded field. And then secondly, you know, you're very ambitious in terms of what you want to do. Do you have the investors on board? Are you working with the investors? Where are you in terms of that road, the development road?
Thank you very much for your question, sir. So for the first part of your question, we already did a risk assessment. In the competitive field, what brings us up front is that we are offering active protection, where we are actively disallowing bacteria to grow on food, while offering a completely biodegradable solution. And that is what makes us unique with other competitors. But also in terms of risk assessment within the project, that the highest risk we have is now we are growing yeast and mold on food waste, which is soon we are hoping that this will go less and less. And one risk is that maybe finding food waste will be harder. So we found out how to develop a different medium to grow yeast and mold without making it much more carbon emitting. And for the second part of your question, we currently had a government grant from the Turkish government. We also got a prize within the project call for the carbon emission reducing projects. We're also getting ready for a pre-seed funding round. Hopefully we will do it with some crowdfunding. Yeah, that's all.
And your process is patented, is it? You have a patent on your process?
We are considering with Middle East Technical University Technology Transfer Office for the IP protection. We haven't filed an application yet. We are discussing the options for how to describe the process and what to patent right now.
Thank you.
A question by Marianne.
I heard you saying a few times, I assume the butchers think that the lifetime of the shelf is not long enough. I assume the customers. Did you also do some research on it? Or do you only assume?
No, like we did a research, we did a market research where we talked with butchers. We already contacted 50 of them since I recorded this pitch. So we actually doubled the customer market, and we also increased the number of test users. We had 2 test users. Now, starting from next month, we will go with 10 test users. These are butchers, where we are giving them, I think, 400 packaging every month. This test process will go for 6 months, and after that we will go for a scaling process.
And it's confirmed one of their concerns, their major concerns, is the shelf.
Yes, and so the main use case was, I'm going to give an example of it. That
one sentence, because your pitching time is up, sorry.
In a very hot day, raw meat can go bad very easily, and our product made sure that it goes a little bit longer.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us here live in the studio. So that was Team Biopulse. We're going to head on to the next pitch, and that is from Trinidad and Tobago. Please give it up for Protofab TT.
Good day, everyone. My name is Ansel Bagwandine. Today, I'm pleased to present the Battery Alchemist project. From Protofab TT, we design, build, and lease modern battery regeneration gear for regular automotive and especially hybrid car batteries to get multiple lives. We lease smart battery regeneration gear to automotive concerns. In the center, you see the rented product moving across to the customer, automotive service and fleet rental entities, with a return of $20 per hour actual system use, internet tracked for proper accounting and reporting. Typically 12 hours usage per HEV battery is expected. A Caribbean island beachhead. Hybrid electric vehicle batteries, HEVs, have a market growth per year of 21%. Our Trinidad beachhead in the center already has 52,000 used HEVs needing service for a $12.3 million service market cap. The wider market space in 2025, the English-speaking Caribbean, offers a 24 million service market cap. And our neighbors in Latin America, a $72 million service market cap potential in 2027. Why this location? Our geographic location is an established niche market for imported used Japanese cars. And there's a global shortage of HEV batteries not going away anytime soon. Solid battery service demand exists, and only 2 higher cost competitors who offer no local warranties or support in the region. Our customers, the automotive HEV battery services, can double their profits. Look at the graph in the center. On the left, in the green bar chart, you can see $1,000 profit. On the right, just 500 for the battery replacement. Now, this is a double benefit because the overall customer, at the end of the day, the vehicle owner, is paying $2,500 on the right for battery replacement, but only $1,240 on the left for the battery regeneration. So they are paying half. But yet our customer, the battery service organization, is earning double, 1,000 versus 500. The Basel Convention on E-Waste recognized our beachhead product in 2021. You can see the product on the left, regenerating a number of batteries. Those are 12-volt car batteries existing in HEVs as well. And on the right, you can see a 42 kilogram HEV battery stripped down, ready for service. Responses from the 20 HEV service entities, there are 60 in the area. The interviews went like this: what impacts your operations? They said short supply of batteries, but high demand for the service. What are their customers' concerns? Well, service cost, of course, and reliability of the service. And how can their business grow? They need a cost-effective battery service solution with the local tech support for the gear. Reliability. Our sustainable financials, this service-based here. The key drivers on the right, you can see in the yellow. Price per service at $12.40 and cost per service at $1,000 translates to a $240 margin per service. The market share of 33% and a market size of 100,000 gives us 33,000 customer services for a net profit of about $8 million US in the beachhead. Our climate impact, the large number here, 34,000 metric tons of CO2 reduction within our 33% beachhead niche market. In the center graph, you can see it quite clearly. Regeneration mitigates 99% of battery manufacturing carbon dioxide emissions versus a new battery replacement that produces 2,000 kilograms of carbon dioxide to manufacture. The reference is at the bottom. Our team and our dream to create sustainable technologies for developing nations like ours and to sequestrate or reduce 1 megaton of carbon dioxide by 2030. I am on the left as a team and technical lead, industrial engineering background with MIT Electronics and Green Project Management, having led 2 prior successful startups. In the center, Ms. Tabitha Gopal, Finance and Marketing, Masters in Economics and Mathematics. On the right, Mr. Budu, Mr. Winston Budu for Logistics and Supply Chain. He's another successful entrepreneur with an MBA and a BSc in Electrical Engineering.
So much for your pitch and welcome in the studio. A first question by our jury. William.
Yeah, I'm very impressed. I first have to clarify something. So your focus is on, let's say, like Toyota Prius vehicles that require a new battery. Is that correct?
That is correct. The particular battery technologies, Toyota and Honda especially, are the ones that use it.
And then these vehicles are especially prominently a part of the car market in Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, in the world, Toyota being the first HEV manufacturer, they have sold 12 million globally. In terms of the market space, they occupy about 80% of the HEV market in the developing Caribbean and Latin America and Africa as well.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have a question, Janneke?
Well, I see some similarities with your colleague, I think was Tanzania. So that brings to mind, okay, it's going to be, if you can give such a good value proposition to your customer, it's going to be a crowded market. How are you planning to be competitive in the long term?
Okay. Thanks for that question. We have 10 years experience in battery regeneration technology here. So we have a competitive advantage in terms of what we're doing, which is a patentable advantage. I'll mention it here. You can reference it. It's called sonication with pulse width modulation. And that gives us an advantage in terms of how fast and how quickly and how well we produce the yields from the regenerated batteries. So that's just 12 hours time from the customer's point of view. So that gives us the turnover, the scalability, and the ability to be agile and pivot because we are designing the tech.
Okay. Brendan.
Thank you very much for the presentation. And like my colleague, it's very similar to a very good presentation we had earlier in Tanzania. I suppose, look, you're delivering a really high quality service. There's a niche market and you're making a difference locally in terms of CO2 emissions and globally, of course. Now, what about the long-term sustainability? Technology is moving very fast in the battery area. And maybe 10, 15 years from now, we may have a very different proposition in terms of batteries. Are you thinking about the longer term, how you adapt and how you be flexible? So you could be making a good living for the next 10 years, but after that, how is it?
Well, I can demonstrate that the initial technology was based on lead-acid batteries, which is the old technology now. And we have pivoted over the last 2 years to the hybrid electric vehicle batteries. And we are already in the process of developing technology for lithium ferric phosphate batteries, which are the new thrust in electric vehicles. So our R&D cycle fits quite well with the time cycle by the time you need to have those batteries regenerated. So if you purchase a new Tesla today, maybe in 8 years from now, you may need to regenerate the battery. So that's our window. So we're keeping up with the technology as we proceed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your pitch, and we'll see you back later for the Global Grand Finals. We're going to head on to the next team, and that is again from Ukraine, 𝐀𝐥𝐿 Electric.
Hello everyone. Let me start by pointing out that there are more than 1,500 trucks of various payload capacity registered in Ukraine. This small fraction of vehicles, however, is responsible for up to 80% of exhaust fumes emissions in the country. Now imagine that over time, most of these trucks could be replaced with all-electric vehicles, not only carbon neutral, but also extremely economically profitable for their owners. We, a team of engineers from Mykolaiv, can make it possible. I am Lada Gogolev, the PR manager of the Mabe Electric team. We sell light and medium-duty electric trucks to companies engaged in transportation of any goods at an affordable price. I'd like to point out that our main innovation is the total optimization of our trucks to achieve the minimum price and maximum functionality. Our technological potential lies in the development of original engineered solutions to achieve a new level of reliability. On the other hand, we rely on simple and practical construction for our modular trucks, thus ensuring the maximum flexibility of our production process to meet the needs of any customer. Our beachhead market is represented by all the Ukrainian companies that perform transportation of goods, equipment, etc. However, our primary focus lies on the logistics fleet operators and construction companies, for we anticipate an unprecedented level of demand for light and medium-duty trucks in the recovery period following the war. Having introduced our product to the Ukrainian market, we plan to expand to the neighboring countries and further. The affordable price of our trucks results from our deep understanding of the customer's needs, which we are able to adjust to in both domestic and foreign markets. The most significant advantage of our electric trucks for the customers is that they will be able to minimize the transportation expenses while also reducing CO2 and other combustion products emissions in the atmosphere. Moreover, our trucks can be charged directly from a household network, which means that a customer company will not depend on the high-voltage charging infrastructure. Our trucks are built to precisely fulfill the requirements of the customers and last long. That means that the main characteristics of the trucks, such as exterior, motor power, or battery capacity, can be changed to satisfy a particular company. When constructing our trucks, we adhere to the following principles. Minimalism. The simple engineered solutions ensure our model's reliability as well as flexibility to provide extra features a customer could require. Modularity. Our truck's frame is suitable to transport any goods, from bread to sand, whereas the truck's payload capacity can vary from 500 kilos to 2 tons. The frame can be lengthened to accommodate any body type. Right to repair. Even though we are prepared to provide the repair services for our customers, they will also have the right to turn to any other company of their choice, which means we do not impose our services on the customers. We have surveyed 20 potential customers represented by logistics companies and other enterprises. Our assumption was that the customers will be attracted by the affordable price of our trucks as well as their low maintenance costs. The customer interviews have confirmed our assumption that the affordable price we offer increases the possibility of our product's purchase. The most important incentive for a customer to switch to electric propulsion, however, are the significant fuel savings. The cost price of our most affordable model, the Courier, amounts to €7,000. Saying that, we are aiming at the net profit of €1,000 per car, which is well justified in the current market environment. If after the first 4 years of operation we will achieve the sales rate of 8,000 electric cars per year, we will be able to count on €8.1 million of annual profit. To continue, I'd like to emphasize that a medium-duty truck with the IC engine volume of 2 to 2.5 liters emits an average of 11 kilos CO2 per 100 kilometers. Meanwhile, a carrier class truck can average around 30,000 kilometers per year. That means that if tomorrow 10,000 ICE trucks were to be replaced with our carrier models, which are powered by renewable energy sources, the atmosphere could be spared 33,000 tons of CO2. In conclusion, our team members are experienced professionals and patriots of their home city Mykolaiv. We know how to organize the electric trucks production and eventually expand it to the international level. That, however, requires investment. At the moment, the main goals for every Ukrainian are the victory and recovery of our country, physical as well as economic. The launch of our electric trucks production will ensure the country's access to an affordable and environmentally friendly cargo vehicles, as well as transformation of our home city into the capital of Ukrainian electric mobility, which also means creation of thousands of jobs for people. Thank you for your attention.
Well, thank you for your amazing pitch, and welcome here in the studio. A first question. Would you like to kick off, Mayam?
Yeah. Amazing. The small truck looks very, very nice. I think it's very comfortable and it fits very well in the SME type of market. My question would be, how are you going to ensure that you use green electricity for charging the trucks?
First of all, thank you for your question. And secondly, fortunately, green electricity is a very developing area in Ukraine. For example, we have a lot of electric stations that work based on the solar energy. And this industry is growing fast. Our main objective now is to, of course, find the companies that will be our providers in this sense. Before that, we, of course, work with other sources of electricity.
Thank you. Brendan.
Thank you very much. We certainly wish you well if you're in competition with Tesla. Can I get this clear? You're only at the start of this process. You're not creating any trucks because you have to source the batteries, the infrastructure to make the trucks, the tires. I'm assuming you're at the beginning of that process, right? And that's quite complex and it's quite resource heavy. So have you been making contacts with investors, suppliers, and all of that? Where are you at this point?
Yeah, that is a valid concern. We already have 3 working models that we have sold to our customers, and these models have been serving our customers for 2 years already, and each model covers 25,000 kilometers per year. So that means that we would be at the 6th level of TRL level at the moment.
And you have enough working capital to continue at that level?
We need investment in order to scale, but at the moment, yes, we are already we are ready to do that, to face the challenges of scaling.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. William.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation. This is a very busy marketplace with custom electric delivery vehicles being developed by quite a few players. What are you going to do to really significantly distinguish yourself from all the other
well, thank you. Our main advantage in this field, in this sense, is actually the price of operation and the price of the truck itself. So our range of 100 kilometers for €1 is something that no of our competitors have demonstrated so far. And that is our main advantage. And besides, one of our competitors, for example, Renault Kangoo, it is the same class truck as our main model. It is twice as expensive, twice as heavy as our model. That is also an advantage because our lightweight models will require less power, and that is why they are actually more affordable to maintain and operate.
Thank you very much. We'll see you back later at the global final. So we're going to head on to the next pitch. I believe that was the winner of the regional final a few weeks back, and it's from the United Kingdom. Let's give it up for 𝗨𝗏𝗁𝐂𝐴𝐵𝐻.
Hi there, thank you for having us. In theory, extracting energy from waves can satisfy around 10% of the global electricity demand. However, it has just proved too expensive. That is, up until now. At Wave Conversion Partners, we want to change this by simplifying a proven design using a disruptive approach. Because the deal is very simple. We convert wave energy into electricity and sell that electricity to the national power grid. In a few years' time, our price will be around 10 cents per kilowatt hour, matching the price paid for fossil fuels, and will ultimately be as low as 5 cents per kilowatt hour. Globally, wave energy conversion is a €200 billion market. Our target market is smaller, around €10 billion, because our solution requires a specific near-shore type of location in order to function. Our beachhead market is a subset, since first, to offset our initial costs, we will target countries that offer good feed-in tariffs for wave energy. And secondly, we will target areas that need protection against coastal erosion, because in such areas, removing energy from the waves has positive effects. As I mentioned, electricity produced by 𝗨𝗏𝗁𝐂𝐴𝐵𝐻 is not only sustainable and pollution-free, but costs less than electricity generated from fossil fuels, and can therefore help countries reduce their dependency on oil and gas imports. Additionally, these devices can be used to protect beaches by reducing the energy of large waves, but can also be configured to fully optimize the constructive nature of small waves, pushing sand up the beach and helping to rebuild it. On a community level, our system produces no noise, uses very little space, and is out of sight, therefore can share space with other coastal activities. We also estimate that around 20,000 new jobs will be created globally in manufacturing, installation and tourism, delivering a massive social impact. Wave energy converters typically involve large metallic structures with complex moving parts. They are expensive to build, they are expensive to maintain, and they're easily damaged by storms. Recently, simpler devices have reduced electricity prices thanks to two innovations. Firstly, they sit on the ocean floor away from the most destructive waves, and secondly, instead of using metallic moving parts, they use simple, flexible membranes to capture pressure variations. We take things one step further, however. We no longer need to install big metallic structures on top of the seabed. Instead, we embed our flexible membranes directly within the seabed, where they can be properly protected during storms. As a result, we can produce electricity that is twice as cheap as the most efficient wave energy converters on the market today. For electricity, things are simple. Electricity is a well-defined product, and the feed-in tariffs are decided by policymakers. Further, interviews with technical experts have helped to inform our design and ensure its viability. At the local level, we found that most councils do not want anything which will spoil the natural look of their beach or will prevent recreational use, something which by design 𝗨𝗏𝗁𝐂𝐴𝐵𝐻 will not. Additionally, councils are actively seeking beach protection options that are more eco-friendly and sustainable, and this could be a complementary market for us in the future. In 5 years, we predict to be at 1% of our 15-year target, generating around €100 million in revenue by producing and selling 1,250 gigawatt hours of electricity per year, enough to power over 3,000 households. This is driven primarily by product cost, feed-in tariffs for the grid, and the cost of connection to the grid. According to the IPCC, ocean energy is the cleanest form of electricity generation, generating on average 97% less CO2 than burning natural gas. Our lightweight solution goes one step further, generating 99% less. Why though do we compare with natural gas? Because the grid needs to balance intermittent sources such as wind and solar with stable inputs like fossil fuels. We propose wave energy as an alternative continuous input. Ultimately, our goal is to offset 50 million tonnes of CO2 from the annual global emissions base after 15 years. Additionally, removing energy from the waves makes them less damaging to the coastline, and working under the seabed gives us the unique ability to transform erosive waves into constructive waves, the type of waves that push sand towards the beach. Our dream is simple. Waves can generate electricity and waves can restore beaches. So let's make it happen. Thank you.
And welcome in the studio, Team FlexiWag. A first question, Brendan.
Wow, thank you very much for that presentation. Wave energy has a checkered career, as you know, including in my hometown where one very large company went bust, unfortunately. And you've pointed out that it's a very complex area and a difficult area, and yet one that seems naturally important, right, when you consider all that strength. Just to be clear, you have a working model of this? There's a working model somewhere under the sea off Brighton or somewhere where you're busy creating electricity. So where are you at on the development road? Because you're going to need considerable finance, I presume. There is risk involved. There are patents involved. I see you have a patent pending. So where are you? I mean, is this a group of young people with an amazing idea and you're just at the beginning? I'm not sure where you're at.
Sure. So we've spent the last year or so producing sequentially bigger and bigger prototypes. Okay, so we've done 5 or 6 now on beaches around the UK, which is testing primarily the capability of our devices to bury themselves under the sediment and to operate in a sort of granular environment. So the biggest of those currently that we've done is about 4 meters squared. And as you mentioned, we have 2 patents pending, which covers this capability that we've been testing. And so our next steps, once we've come up with some investment, is to scale this up even further. And this will likely be in wave tanks and test tanks in lab conditions first, to check that the entire system works well cohesively, and then we'll go on to an installation in the near future.
Thank you.
Thank you. William.
Yeah, thank you very much for a wonderful presentation. The first question I have is around the power production. So if you have a 4 square meter unit out in the seabed, what kind of, how many watts can we expect from such a device?
Okay, so at full scale, our devices can be at different scales. We can have a community scale, which is around sort of 15 meters by maybe 10 meters. And then a full-scale unit is about 1.5 megawatts, and this takes up 50 meters by about 40 meters out to sea. And then this can be scaled up from there, so we can have several of these 1.5 megawatt units all along the same beach, and we can have wave farms as you would a wind farm currently.
Okay, but per square meter?
Per square meter, we're looking at somewhere along sort of a few dozen kilowatts for the 4 meter squared version. Have I disappeared?
Yeah, no. A few kilowatts per square meter?
A few dozen kilowatts for the 4 meter squared version. So we're looking at maybe 3 or 4 kilowatts per meter squared.
Wow. Okay.
Thank you. Angico.
Yes, thanks. So when do you want to get your, let's say, full scale to the market? These are, normally quite long times to market. How do you view that? Can you be faster, or?
And a one-sentence reply, please, because we are headed out of time.
So a bit more research and development over the next year or so, and then we'll start scaling up with real size installations, maybe in the next 2 to 3 years.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, and good luck in the global finals later on.
Yeah.
We're going to head on to the next pitch, and that is from Peru, 𝐾𝐥𝐿. Good luck.
Did you know that due to climate change, droughts are becoming more frequent, which causes farmers to lose their crops, and this affects their family economy? Hello, we are 𝐾𝐥𝐿 Seawater, and we provide mini portable solar power desalination plants to deal with droughts and provide custom water to farmers. We offer solar power and portable desalination equipment for farmers near coastal areas. The cost per unit is $15,000. Our beachhead market is the farmers who are in the coastal areas of Arequipa, Peru, which represents $231,022 million, which we will enter in these 3 years. In the following years, we expand to 5 Latin American countries, such as Argentina, Chile, Mexico, Peru, and Uruguay. That represents a market of $3,465 billion. Finally, we expand to countries on our continent, which represents $9.24 billion. Our desalination equipment saves farmers 100% in energy consumption, reducing from $0.663 per hour to $0 per hour, which with farmers will obtain quality water without energy consumption apart from renewable energies. Our desalination equipment works 100% with solar energy, which the salty seawater enters through a connection to the high-pressure injection system towards the crystallization capsule to later go to the reserve tank and to the final treatment. From there, the fresh water is ready for use in the farming. With this layered crystallization system, we can produce 998 liters for every 1,000 liters of water processed. It also includes a disinfection process and a comprehensive water treatment that consumes 0.020 kilowatt-hour. Our customer discovery is as follows. Key assumptions. Licensing the patent to have a broader reach and benefit more farmers. The machine can be used by entire communities, thus benefiting more people. Interviews, agricultural associations, individual farmers on the coast of Peru. Pilot distribution, 150 units. Zone of Peru, Lima, and Arequipa. Results. A machine that supplies water constantly, so the farmer can face droughts. The training for the use of the machine is 3 days, since all the processes are automated. With that 15% of our beach herd market, we will make a profit of around $231,022. These revenues will be used to further develop our products and increase the benefits for our customers. We have calculated that with the 15% of our beachhead market, we can save 3,942 tons of CO2 per year, since reverse osmosis plants consume 3 kilowatt-hours per cubic meter of treated water, and for each kilowatt-hour of energy, 450 grams of CO2. And all of the energy source we use come from alternative energy sources. Our CO2 emissions are 0. Our team, as CEO, is 𝗫𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿 control. As CTO is 𝐿𝐿𝐴𝐴𝐿𝐴 𝐒𝐭𝐨𝐫𝐢, whose title of technician in Caterpillar heavy machinery with 15 years of experience working as a heavy machinery mechanic and heavy machinery maintenance. As CFO, we have Yolanda 𝐿𝐴𝐴𝐿𝐴, whose title is technician in refining and liquefaction of hydrocarbons with 8 years of experience as financial officer. Our dream is provide water to farmers so that they do not lose their crops due to the lack of rain. Develop the first solar desalination plant in South America, Australia, and India by 2025. Expand to all countries that have access to the sea and provide them with water for their crops.
Thank you, Team Peru, and welcome here in the studio. A first question, Janneke, would you like to kick off?
Well, I'm just thinking you should, link to my neighbor because he's in the same business, right? And, and share some knowledge. No, but that's anyhow a good idea, but that's not a question. So I'm wondering, because it sounds like you're using all existing technologies and putting it together smarter, or am I missing something? Is there something that, makes you make a leap innovation in the system?
I'm sorry to tell you this, but the last part of your question was unclear because of my poor internet connection. So
we'll do it again.
I would...
No problem.
Please. Thank you very much.
So, are you using existing technology technologies that you've put together in a smarter way, or have you? Is there a core technology innovation in there somewhere?
This technology has been developed mainly with new ideas we have brought into the design and final construction of our equipment. And of course, some of the materials we use in the building up of the machine are the ones existing in the market. But the system itself is an innovation that we came up with in the development of our project.
Thank you. Let's head over to you, William.
Yeah, you compare yourself to reverse osmosis, and you indicate the power consumption of reverse osmosis as being about 3 kilowatt-hours per cubic meter. They could also use power from solar energy. So my question to you would be, how many kilowatt-hours do you require from solar energy per cubic meter of water produced?
According to our presentation, the amount is less than 1 kilowatt per hour for the production of, for the processing of 1 cubic meter of seawater, right? We rank between less than half kilowatt hour.
Less than half a kilowatt hour?
Yes.
William is about the numbers, huh? Did you notice? Thank you. A question by you, Marjan?
Yeah, but that was also a bit my question. I didn't know you were in that business. So, but what I always learned is that indeed to create, to have desalination, it costs a lot of energy. And what I know about Peru is that it's quite misty, right? It's always a bit misty. So do you have enough solar energy to create such a new business?
Not really. Some part of the coastal areas of Peru are misty, maybe 4 to 5 months a year. But in the southern area of Peru, since being this a desertic area, the sunlight is optimal most part of the year, right? So even though there are days that are cloudy, the system is still 100% possible to operate under the actual current conditions of the coastal areas of Peru. So the sun exposure is bigger during most of the year.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your pitch and for the Q&A. We'll see you back later this afternoon. We're going to head on to the next pitch, and that is Australia, live here today with Spark 3D. Give it up for them.
One of the most important innovations in all of history was the invention of writing. But for millennia, there was an enormous barrier to the widespread adoption: scalable manufacturing. Before the invention of the printing press, a book could cost more than a house, whereas today, with roll-to-roll manufacturing, a newspaper can be printed for less than $1. Silicon chips are today's carriers and processors of information, and they are produced in a semiconductor fab, a building which starts at $5 billion apiece. Hi everyone, my name is Ben. I'm from Spark 3D in Australia, and we have developed a new manufacturing technology that can 3D print electronics extremely quickly and will one day replace entire fabs with a box. 3D printers that print electronics to electronics manufacturers for $50,000 a year, manufacturers who make things like indoor solar cells. We have a grand vision to one day play a central role in the semiconductor chip market, where we want to replace photolithography with a process hundreds of times faster. But before that, we need to gain experience in related but simpler markets like PCBs and solar. Our beachhead market is indoor solar cells. So indoor solar cells are designed for low light conditions and can power smart home devices and sensors without a plug or a battery. But they've struggled to compete with single-use batteries because of their high costs. And this is why. If you look at the materials that make up an indoor solar cell, one stands out: gold. Our printer is able to replace the gold with copper, reducing the material costs by 90%, while increasing throughput and performance, really unlocking the potential for this technology. And this is how we do it. This is our MVP printer called MicroFab. MicroFab deposits materials in an entirely new way based on electrochemistry. It uses electricity to deposit metals, ceramics, polymers, and semiconductors. Our number one unfair advantage is that our method is extremely scalable and patent protected. We can print extremely quickly at high volume and high resolution. Compared to other manufacturing methods, we are much more flexible. We can print multi-materials and in true 3D. And last, we're first to market, and we have a small high-performance team that can move really fast. We've made a huge amount of progress in a very short time. The company was only formed in February, and in the last 3 months, we've talked to over 60 technology businesses and academics around the world, turning 2 of those into paying customers, and have successfully raised $3.7 million seed round in Australia. We've made a huge amount of progress in a very short time. The company was only formed in February, and the last 3 months, we've talked to over 60 technology businesses and academics around the world, turning 2 of those into paying customers and successfully raising a $3.7 million seed round in Australia. Before those conversations, our key assumptions was that inkjet users were not satisfied with the material quality, high resolution was very important to manufacturing, and that prototyping was the sweet spot for a 3D printer. After we've confirmed that inkjet users are not happy with the material quality, we found that multi-material printing was much more interesting to customers than high resolution, and that the transition from prototype to manufacturing is the really hard part. With 80% of our beachhead market in year 5, our projected profit is $5 million a year. Our key drivers are the price per unit per year and the total number of printers we sell through market size and share. We save 1 kilogram of CO2 for every IoT sensor we power with an indoor solar cell. With 80% of our beachhead market, we can save 24,000 tons of CO2 per year. But we could have an even bigger impact in outdoor solar and batteries. Plus, our process is more efficient, creates almost no waste, and we have a plan to solve the e-waste problem by turning it into e-ink. We have an amazing team. Between us, we have a great combination of experience in hardware, software, and material science. Our leadership team has startup experience. All 4 of us have either previously started a startup, been the first employee of a startup, or started a research group. Our dream is to democratize the electronics manufacturing industry so that anyone with an idea for a breakthrough technology has almost no barriers to implementing it. That's our biggest contribution to solving climate change, enabling the great ideas of others in solar, batteries, and computing. Happy to answer some questions for Q&A. Thank you very much.
Spark 3D, there are 2 epic people from your team joining us live here today. Who will kick off the questions? Janneke.
Yes, well, it's a truly impressive pitch, I must say. I like the ASML analog. It's also very high ambition. I think they spend billions on their latest EUV machine. But my question actually is, I think you're typical enabling technology, and how do you make sure that your technology is used for good and not for bad? Because one of the largest negative impacts, I think, that exist is electronic devices or stuff that is bought. If everything gets cheaper, maybe we buy more and we actually create more negative impacts. How do you look at that?
So I think one of the key advantages of our method is that we can run our process in reverse for many materials. And so we can unmake electronic materials. So that is a potential solution to, if we make electronics very, very cheap and affordable, we also have a potential way to reuse them at a very low level.
Could you also start with that application? Like, start with the reverse?
I mean, absolutely. And actually, one of the first things I've ever done in my PhD, which is where this method originated, is to actually dissolve the copper that I've deposited. And that worked quite well. And that made me believe that this technology can be truly circular. And I think the interesting part is that if your core belief is around circular economy and actually holding climate change as a serious threat, and starting with those values in your team building, then I think that's going to stay at the core of your business, and that's how you're going to grow, and that's how you're going to actually impact some change.
I love that answer. Thank you.
Thank you. William.
So looking at the presentation, if I understand it correctly, you are a specialty 3D printing company. Is that a right assumption, or am I then completely off the mark?
I would say we're making devices that fabricate electronics, and the first product is a product we'll make for prototyping electronics. And we talk about it as a 3D printer because it uses a similar motion control system, but it is more general than that.
Okay.
Okay. Brendan.
Well, this is a really tectonic shift, I think, if this works. You seem to be very modest and look to make 5 million or so. I mean, if this is a game changer, will you be under pressure to sell your patents? Because there's a lot of big players around and they can buy you out and you can become a multimillionaire quickly, but just lose everything. So in terms of like that social aspect that we were just talking about a few minutes ago, have you been thinking about the moral issues, the social issues, and of course you want return on investment as well, you have to pay the bills. You know, you have to balance all of those things.
That's a great question, and I think that's where Ben finished on the final slide, showing that motivation of democratizing the electronics manufacturing. That is our absolute aim and the North Star of our company. And me coming from the printed electronics area before in my previous startup, these are the problems that I lived, and I realized that in order to buy one of those printers, the competitor solutions, it costs up to $500,000. It's inaccessible to anyone in the world, and we want to change that more than anything, more than we want to earn many millions of dollars. And this is why we're doing this every day. This is what drives us.
Well, thank you so much. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, so we will see you back later on the moment where we announce the winners. Thank you. An hour, because we had now we finished all the pitches. 16 amazing startups from all around the world. In the second round, we had 3 times the UK, Turkey, Trinidad and Tobago, Ukraine, Peru, and Australia. Amazing. All the inspiration flying from all around the world here live in our studio. I think everyone watching today can take that home as new ideas and probably help you also along the way on everything that's coming up next. We will go towards a little break, so you have a few minutes to stretch your legs again. Please be back in time, because we have an amazing panel with 3 people talking about inclusion and diversity in climate entrepreneurship. And then afterwards, finally, we will announce the top 3 winners of the Climate Launchpad competition of 2022. I wish the jury good luck, because this is going to be a tough one. Your deliberation will start now. Good luck to you. We'll see you back in about 30 minutes, and then we will finally hear who will be crowned the Climate Launchpad winner of 2022. So yes, welcome back here in the studio. Yes, and welcome back here in the studio. And while the jury is deliberating and making their very, very tough decision between those 16 finalists of the Global Grand Finals, we will have a nice conversation at this table. I am very happy that I'm here and not back with them, because it's a tough one this year. We're going to talk about the power of diversity, inclusion, gender, whatever comes to the table. First of all, a warm welcome to you. Sarah Eve Fuentes, you are a vice chairwoman and Women in Clean Tech and Sustainability. That's a mouthful, but it sounds beautiful. Marielle Veenstra, PhD at the TU Delft, Senior Consultant Research and Innovation at the EU and Expert Gender and Energy Transition. That is an even longer one, also very beautiful. Thank you for joining us today. And Job Blom, welcome to you as well. Climate Launchpad National Lead. So you've been working a lot with the startups of this year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Definitely. Sustainable entrepreneur yourself, so welcome to the table. And co-founder of Clean Tech Hub.
Correct.
Yes, let's talk diversity.
Yes.
First of all, what are the benefits in the long term?
I think the benefits of diversity are just perspective. I think when you have a diverse team or diverse people within your organization, you're going to get a broader perspective. So let's just start with that.
Yes.
What do you think?
Broaden the horizon. Okay, for you?
Oh, and it's the norm, you know, it's the way it should be, and it will be, and it's the future.
And I think
it's like normal, you know. It's a bit like same with the discussion with sustainability. You know, I started 20 years ago, and now it became like the norm. You know, it became normal, and then that's the same with diversity. It's like normal. You know,
the amazing thing, if you're starting your own enterprise, and you get to do it like very well from the start.
From the start.
Not even a question, right?
For the startups, it won't be a discussion, I think, because they're all locally based, locally operating, local teams, local solutions, local.
Yeah.
So
yeah, totally.
For the startups, it's different, but for bigger corporates, it's a different discussion. Of
course. Yes, definitely. And what do you think?
Yes, indeed, it's a discussion, but it's a discussion more. Well, it's a discussion we have more frequently, and and I think what I see is that it's a discussion not only within the corporate world, but also within the governmental world, the civil society at least. And I think it's crucial to focus on diversity because, well, there is not such a thing as the consumer. You know, there is a diversity in society. So products, policies, design should reflect the diversity in society more often. And I think that is the notion, the perspective, and indeed why it's so crucial to have diversity in your design processes.
Yeah, totally. We've seen a lot of very tech scale-ups presenting today, but we're also touching upon the lives of people in here.
Indeed, it's the end user is diverse. So you need to incorporate that perspective. And a way to do that is to have a more diverse team working on those innovations.
Yeah. So between us in Dutch we say preken voor eigen parochie, which translates in we all
practice
together here, we know practice what you preach. Thank you. But at the same time, we've seen this changing over the last couple of years. There's so much more emphasis on this topic. Why is that? Are people now finally seeing the advantages, or is there just a fresh wave of people?
I think it's a combination. I think generations. I mean, that's something. Maybe you can reflect on that as well. It's I think a generational thing. In addition to that, funding too. I mean, many funders, whether they are investors or grants like the European funding schemes, etc., are requesting a gender focus, for example, or a diversity focus in business plans and development. So I think
it helped.
I mean, it stimulates at least. Sometimes it's checking boxes, but at least they are considering and thinking about it. Plus, we have more talent. I think that's something you can also relate on.
Yeah, I think that when you were able to have that talent pool, right, and be able to draw in with working with women, and you get a different perspective with working with women. And I believe that women are naturally builders. We naturally know how to create things. So you get this different type of energy and vibe from that diverse pool. And I think when you're able to build something like that, people are going to be drawn and attracted to that. People want to be drawn to something new. And so why now? Well, partly because people are saying, hey, we want to have more culture. We want to see more culture in our businesses. And people are able to relate to that culture.
I think also, like, I find it always striking that people look at work as, well, that's the place where I work, and then I'm going to be myself again, because then it's my free time.
But that is different.
I never saw that. I always felt like I am a human person, and I spend a lot of time with my colleagues. Let's better make the best out of it, and that's like, it's living, right?
Yeah, but that is correct, and I have the same, but that's even more with female leaders. Like I work a lot with co-founders, which are women, of course, in my organization, and they run my company like it's a family, you know? It's like it's a good status quo, it's a good sense of being, good attention, good work-life balance. We have organic growth, you know, of 25%. We don't need to double the digits, because why should we, you know? It's like good if we grow our team and our family slowly but surely, and there's no conflict, you know, because we had like one company with 2 male persons, 1 female, and she was always being like our conflict resolution, you know, in between the table. We were fighting with our egos and then she came in and it was immediately
That is
solved.
something ego, right?
I think it's, you bring up a very valid point about the conflict. I feel like, you know, women naturally want to build. We naturally want to connect. We're connectors. Where, you know, the male perspective is very competitive. You know, there's this competitive aspect of it. And when you have women that are taking charge and leading, we're looking to nurture and also build simultaneously. And maybe there's that aspect of us being mothers and some of us knowing how to multitask, so we're able to handle distractions a little bit differently. So there's that
but
aspect
also your employees, you treat them like your kids, you know, it's really, like, but in a positive way, I mean, you know, you really build this sense of family.
But, sorry to interrupt there, but I also think that what we say here demonstrates that you need, even within gender, diverse teams. So not only male oriented teams,
for sure.
not only female teams. No, I think that the mix and the balance is crucial to have both the best of both worlds. And
and it's a bit polarized to say female, male, because I think by creating an atmosphere that is more diverse, male colleagues can demonstrate feminine values because they have that in them as well, and you have so many varieties of people. So it's more about like how can we sort of integrate all these elements.
Talk about cultures and backgrounds and where do you come from, where do you live, what tribe do you belong to? You know, like there's so much diversity and with that complementarity, like it should not be like a melting pot, it should be like a mosaic, you know, of everybody contributing their core knowledge, their core insights, their fresh ideas, their cultural backgrounds, their passion to it.
So we've been traveling from Kenya to Mozambique to Peru to UK, to, everywhere around the world today. Let's like dive into the differences, global north, global south. Are there differences in this regard of diversity?
I would say, well, in the States and America, recently it is now a requirement for public entities to have women on the board. Why? Because we only saw male in the boardrooms. And so now there's definitely why now. You brought that up, like why now? That's one of the reasons why. It's because you're checking that check mark. So I definitely see that emphasis going in the United States. It's like, okay, that we're trying to make it culturally sound. We want to bring more diversity. We want to be more inclusion. So hopefully that it's not just because it's mandatory. It's because people want to participate. It's because we want to see that impact.
Yes, and it's also, I think, if you look at the geographical spread, it's also a matter of bringing your own identity, and that's something you touched upon too. It's a bit like your professional identity and private identity, but having an open atmosphere and transparency to be who you are and to bring your own perspective to the table, I think is crucial. On the other hand, I do see huge cultural differences in that, no? And in not all regions in the world, it's a given that, for example, women can raise their voices and participate, and that's also linked to inequalities in access to education, inequality to access to infrastructure and support mechanisms that needs to be in place as well to be able to participate and to be at the table, in the boardrooms, within companies, etc. And I think with your experience also internationally, I'm looking forward to
it's completely different per country, you know. But even within a country, you know, if you live in Amsterdam or in a small village where I live, you know, the culture is completely different. And we have offices in Amsterdam, South Africa, Colombia. South Africa, Colombia, completely different, of course. You know, there in South Africa, you have the whole apartheid history with black economic empowerment. So it's like mandatory, you know, it's a big focus already for 20 years. In Colombia, it's a masculine kind of society, but you have huge female leadership. You know, it's incredible. We have like a rate of 35% of female founders within ClimateLaunchpad, while in your Silicon Valley, it's like 15% maybe. So it's double. We have like a female mayor in Bogota, you know, lots of action there. So this is probably also my final discussion or being in a panel as a white male from the Netherlands, older age, being a director, you know, it's probably
But
my
also in the
last
Netherlands, I am a woman in the construction industry, in the built environment. I felt very uneasy that they would always stress like female in, you know, like you are a specific species almost. But at the same time, we do need it. So every person that is watching today who can sort of somehow show and demonstrate, like we do need it still.
And culture eats strategy, you know, like at the end, the culture even within a company is completely, Google has a different company culture than IBM or ABN AMRO or Bank of America, you know, like, so also the culture within a company, it's the strongest asset that you actually have, you know, and especially working as one team in all.
I think that leads into values, right? Like, what are the values? Like, within my company, our values are transparency, circularity, and people. So why do we do what we do? It's for people. I represent a very small minority of Native American and Mexican women that are in the clean tech space. So my focus is definitely always going to be people. My people have always thought circular. We've always thought that way, and we practice that. So I love that you bring that up, the individuality and leading forward with that. And that's the thing that I want to see more people doing, is being unapologetic about it.
But I think what is crucial is to have then an enabling environment. And feeling the openness and the transparency and the support from your management as well to demonstrate your own individuality, isn't it?
Because that's what I want to touch upon. Like, everyone listening today, what can we do to bring more diversity and inclusion, even more? Because we are setting the tone. Because we can do from scratch. We can do it in the best possible way.
Well, indeed, and I think that is a huge, mandate, but also responsibility. And I think that is sometimes when you are a startup, there are so many other things on your plate as well. So you can really focus on first of all, what kind of organization I do want to be. But then the investors are coming, then the market's picking up, then you're growing at a certain moment, hopefully. And then it's to stay true to your values. And I think that is the a bit a tricky part of it. No? So I do believe that's the environment around it. So the investors, governments, but also the market and the consumer should support these startups in reminding them of their values when they do. Well, when they started. No?
That's also why you stressed maybe in a program, right? Like, talk to your customers and talk to the people in your organizations, and like it's people. It's like amazing tech and all the solutions are incredible, but it's about people.
And it starts with better awareness, you know, be aware of it, you know, and then you can make better choices, and then you can create the better results. And also actually with ClimateLaunchpad in Colombia, we have now also support from the Irish to do gender mainstreaming. So we are going to implement it in everything we do, in organization, in the program, in the selection, what we of course already did. You know, we were looking at different regions, we were looking at male, female founders in our selection process as well. But the funny thing, and that is all like almost normal, but the funny thing is they also let us look at our communication. So we looked back at our Facebook, at our LinkedIn, what were we posting, how were we posting it, and from what kind of perspective were we actually communicating it. And that was actually really like a big eye-opener.
I totally,
so it's
understand.
All interesting stuff.
Wow. We already spoke very briefly about investors. Are they demanding more diversity?
I believe they are. I believe that investors are looking to work with women with definitely a diverse background that have culture. And what we're finding too is that, you know, we're able to provide at least women and the investors that are looking to invest in that they're looking for them to be successful. And these companies are seeing that the diverse companies that they're investing in are having a level of success, partly because they are able to have a different perspective, and they are holding true to their values and maintaining them and calling out people that maybe aren't practicing what they preach, like we just mentioned.
It's interesting because it's like winning together instead of like I am like, you know, and I am the one succeeding. That's very masculine, but then winning together.
I think it's an ideal situation, right? We all want a win-win-win.
Yeah.
True, and and I think that's being a startup. You are so aware of the fact that you need others because you're just starting up.
Yeah.
And I think to hold on to that notion of you need everyone. Or everyone, at least. Now you need a village to raise a child. You need a village to raise your own business, isn't it? No? So I think to keep monitoring that, and I do applaud everyone who starts with gender mainstreaming, but then it should not evaporate. No? So you need to keep monitoring it.
Exactly.
You need to have commitments. Yes, you need to get committed to that on a longitudinal stage.
So then it's because we touched upon authenticity earlier today. It's also like even asking people to help you is already like a step forward, right? To invite others to make it human, to be vulnerable. You can't always know it all.
True.
How can you sort of, that's also a way of looking at diversity, of course.
Yes, and I think that, we didn't touch upon age, but I think what we often see in successful startups is also a combination of seniority and early career and have a wonderful combination of experience and different skill sets. So I think that is another layer to diversity.
But age, what would be ideal for organizations?
Well, what I heard is that indeed there is a certain combination where younger professionals are often a bit more growth oriented, where the older professionals are more focusing on sustainability. So indeed, I mean it's all about balance, and in some businesses, in some industries, some sectors, it might be 50-50 or it might be 30-40 or whatever percentage. So I think it's figuring out that balance and still continue this open environment. I think that is
interesting. I remember that we also started with only young people. That was the only thing I could afford. And now we have a big team with different ages also, which helps a lot. And I find that it's more about talent and about the willingness to want to grow.
Indeed.
And that's something...
Grit is the most important aspect.
Yeah.
Grit.
Every age. Every age.
Yeah.
If that's the people you need to look for. It's not necessarily only the age. It's more about your willingness to want to move forward.
Yeah, and people with the sparkle in the eye that go for it and have the passion and determination to do it. To make it happen.
Yeah. What would be your advice for the people watching today on creating more diversity?
Yeah, I think it's crucial. It's like the think global, act local. Yeah. But also think differently, and think out of the box. That's why we are all here, Like we can't solve climate change mitigating what we have been doing. We have to be completely disruptive. That's the whole idea about ClimateLaunchpad. So that's also what we need in those teams. You need different opinions. You need to fail big. You make mistakes, no problem. There's this trust in the team. You can fail and you have to respect all opinions, and that makes it strong. Challenge everyone and really make this complementary team.
Yeah, so I hear something about responsibility, because you're able to build your team the way you want. So use that momentum, basically.
Indeed.
But also, let's be bold.
Yeah, and even bolder.
Even bolder. If you think bold and big, then go even a step further. That's amazing. In Holland, for instance, we're pretty just act normal, and that's crazy enough.
No, I always.
For instance, that's also a cultural thing.
No, and with my presentations, I always start with that video of Think Differently from Steve Jobs. Like those people that think they can change the world are the ones that do. That are crazy enough that they think they can change the world are the ones that do, and they come from all ranges, all countries, all tribes, all cultures, all ages, all gender.
Yeah, so let's all be a bit crazy and bold. And
exactly.
ambitious. Yeah,
I got to add one thing, which is also be fun.
Yeah,
I think that when you incorporate fun, you're going to become more creative, more innovative, and people are going to be attracted to that. And so when you're fun and you are unapologetic about that, and you're the fun crew, everybody's going to want to come work for you. Everybody's going to say, "Hey, do you work for that fun company?" Yeah. And that's also going to bring the age is the young, maybe someone's more senior, but they're still young at heart, right? And they're going to want to work for that fun company and to continue to be that childlike spirit, because people are attracted to that. And I think when you lead with fun, you're always going to have a better outcome. People are going to be more happy to work for you. People are going to be more happy to be a part of your community. I love that about women in clean tech and sustainability, that we are fun. We want to have fun. We want to do it, and we want to change the world while we're doing it. We don't want to be boring. So I think just having fun is key to that.
Oh, I absolutely love this. This is really so important, because we are tackling, we spoke about that in the first session, we are facing crises. This is not like we're playing, you know, like, kindergarten. This is like, this is serious stuff.
Yes.
At the same time,
it's heavy.
It's really heavy, but creating an environment that is really fun, because you're together, you're joining and you're making an impact, that is like so powerful.
It brings the momentum.
Yeah.
When you're having fun, it brings that mobility, and it's just so attractive.
I think it's like my therapy, basically, for coping with whatever's going on.
Yeah, but
like,
because
I see it already for 10 years. Like that's the way to scale.
Yes, indeed, and it also creates a shared ownership, a shared ownership for the company, a shared ownership for the culture that you want to incorporate and want to spread, and the narrative you want to spread out.
So effective.
Indeed, and it's and I think in the long run it brings you further, because and especially when you're talking about sustainability, climate change, diversity. Well, we can all say like, hey, come up, you need to do this and that and that, but then people, it's too big that people don't feel, what can we do? How can we contribute? And I think there, then you see a lack of ownership and a lack of responsibility in that sense.
And I think there's also a correlation, or I don't know, maybe that's a difficult word to use, but between being more in the fun mode and also the amount of creativity that it unlocks.
Well,
because if we are so serious, and also all the startups today, we want to make a difference, we want to make it work, we work so hard, you know? It's like, it's really a different species being entrepreneurial, basically.
The passion,
but then,
right?
I mean, it's
It's the passion.
It's the passion also, what you touched upon in the beginning. It's also part of your own personality. So it's your professional identity, but it's the professional identity and who you are. I mean, I think that if we look around here around the table, I think what brought us so far and brought us here was the fact that we feel very much personal, inspired to make that change.
Inspired, empowered.
And empowered indeed, but it's not always the easy job to do, isn't it?
No.
So in that sense, you better have fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. One last remark.
I would say that I would feel that it was my right. That it was my right to make an impact, to preserve what we can do for our people and our planet.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's my right.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
And it's the only thing.
That's all we got.
That's all. Yeah, it's all we got. It's all we need.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much. We could talk on for hours.
I guess so.
Yeah, but I think that our jury will be almost ready to finally let us know who will be the top 3 winners of this year's Global Grand Final. We take with us today a responsibility, being even bolder and have so much fun. So I wish all of that to you at home today and also in the future, of course. So let's all take our responsibility and bring diversity in the entrepreneurial future that we have ahead of us, like really to the front and be something that we can all live and thereby inspire others to join us in this movement. We will go towards a little break, and in a few minutes I'll see you back with our jury. Thank you.
Alive, let's hit the dance floor. Don't work too hard, might break a backbone. Return of the Mac, the king is back though. Corvette and cash, I never lack those. She saw the stone, you know how that go. Fatality, my diamonds that cold. Versace trunks, I hit my backstroke. Knock on the door, she at the back, bro. All I really take is a little taste. Island girl, blue eyes with a little bass. Here for the thrill, I don't need a chaser. Wanna vibe at the getaway. Shimmy, shimmy, yeah, I got the semi-fold weight. Don't step out the line like this a probate. You hit the line and try to locate. This for the time, got time for no day. One, too many, I'm going. Too crazy and I got bad ones and they ready. A good time, so now it's in the whip, we left that. Can't remember anything, but I know we got lit. Good times, live in the moment, feel like summertime. Obsessed with nature, not a world mine. The room is spinning, but I feel fine. Oh my. Chandelier, limousines. Really think I'm seeing things. Read the line in mid-between. Yellow light, I gotta speed up. Get home to a cold shower. Need that pronto. Look like a rave at the condo. Heck of a night in Toronto. She said, boy, you in Morocco. Pearl white mention in the top gold. Fill up my cup with the pop, whoa. Eye off life in the spot, though. Running at the visa, really talking to a real life Mona Lisa. Jesus pieces hanging off the fleecer. So much going on, it's hard to focus on the features. I got too many, I'm going. Too crazy, and I got bad ones and they ready. A good time, so now it's in the whip, we left that. Can't remember anything, but I know we got lit. Good times, live in the moment, feel like summertime. Obsessed with nature, not a world mine. The room is spinning, but I feel fine. Oh my. If I'm being honest, loving you the hardest thing to do, so I keep to myself. I feel like I'm falling in and out of consciousness, yeah. Now we starting to talk, let's killing all the progress. Really hard to process, you treat me like an object. Baby, we toxic, can we stay on topic? I feel like we lost it, feel like we lost it. Take my love, don't waste it. Even though I don't mind waiting. Late test, my mind racing. What else I have to do, girl, to brace me? You, I only want you, yeah. I only want you, I only want you to pull me closer. Pull me closer. Pull me closer. Love's in the air, but I'm not breathing. Broken heart, need repairing, you're the reason. On a hospital bed, the pain not leaving. You been arrows to the chest, I can't stop bleeding. If you gon' leave, gon' leave just like everybody else. If you don't like my company, then I'll do life by myself. Girl, your love like a drug, it ain't good for my health. Even though it's killing me, girl, I love you to death. Take my love, don't waste it. Even though I don't mind waiting. Late test, my mind racing. What else I have to do, girl, to brace me? You, I only want you. Closer. Pull me closer. Pull me closer. Take my love.
Ooh, that sugar sweet, you got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion, just my kind of heat. Keep it on repeat, tested by the motion, loving this devotion. Live it up, sweet emotion. Every time, every night, you and I on a roll. Switch it up, switch it up, switch it up where I'm going. Stay on the fly, just in time, know the right way to go. I'm on the road, it's my time, taking control of my life. I want to run the red lights, I've got to run this show. You always take me so high, you always make the highlights. I love the way we vibe, you're like a centerfold. Ooh, that sugar sweet, you got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion, just my kind of heat. Keep it on repeat, tested by the motion, loving this devotion. Ooh, that sugar. All I want is satisfaction. Make a move, baby, you got nothing to lose. Give me that, give me that, give me that good reaction. Gonna make it right, little like an offer I can't refuse. I'm on the road, it's my time, taking control of my life. I want to run the red lights, I've got to run this show. You always take me so high, you always make the highlights. I love the way we vibe, you're like a centerfold. Ooh, that sugar sweet, you got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion, just my kind of heat. Keep it on repeat, tested by the motion, loving this devotion. Ooh, that sugar you got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion, just my kind of heat. Keep it on repeat, tested by the motion, loving this devotion. Ooh, that sugar, just my kind of heat. Ooh, that sugar. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion. Ooh, that sugar.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here in the studio. This is the moment we have all been waiting for. While we were talking about diversity and having so much fun in the entrepreneurial background, our esteemed jury has reached their verdict. So we will hear all about it in just a few moments' time. I think all the 16 finalists are here now, live in our studio. Hello, wave to me, please, to let me know that you are really, really here. Yes, yes, yes. Not all of you. Yeah, or a big thumbs up. Yes. Are we excited, people? Yes. This is the moment. This is the moment we've all been like working towards. And in just a few moments' time, we will hear who will be crowned the winner of the Climate-Launchpad Winning Team 2022. We have 3 prizes, as was just explained at the beginning of our journey. The third place will win €2,500. The runner-up, the number 2, gets €5,000, and the number 1, €10,000. And as was explained also, we are all winners because the 16 finalists, they will already move towards this accelerator program, the Climate-Launchpad Climb Accelerator. So congratulations to you. This is just a journey and the next phase that we're facing all together, and it's amazing that all of you will participate in that. In a way, I said already, we are all winners because we are working on a daily basis on creating meaningful startups and really creating an impact with all the ideas that we actually have created all together. So congratulations to everyone, not only the 16 finalists, but the 2,000 applicants and everyone that is joining today live at this broadcast. Yeah, I think, is that possible? A big applause for our 16 global finalists? Yes. Woo. This is a festive moment. We were told we need to have more fun, so this is the fun part. Also a difficult one. Marjan, the jury had a very tough deliberation. How did it go in the jury room, in the green room where you were?
We were very much impressed by the 16 pitches, and as it goes in competitions like this, it's very difficult to compare. It always feels like comparing apples and oranges.
Yes.
And in our case, amazingly, we had quite a good consensus.
Okay.
And most of us had the same solutions in our top 3 or top 5.
Yeah.
And then we, of course, had to do a little bit of balancing act. So we came to a very nice and...
You're satisfied with the result.
We are, we are.
Very good. Brendan, what is your general feeling about all the pitches?
Ooh, you know,
16 times, inspiration.
Yes, amazing. You know what? I've been energized,
yes.
And I've been inspired. I've been uplifted. I don't know many adjectives. But really...
Do you hear that, people? It's thanks to you.
We hear so much bad news, right?
Yes.
About climate.
Yes.
And all the effects it's having right around the world, in the developing world, but also in the developed world. We've had a very warm summer here, as you know.
Yes.
24 degrees last Sunday. But in spite of all that bad news, when I, listen to all those pitches, and I know there's other hundreds below that as well, I feel inspired. The future, I think, is bright when we hand it to those people there. So I'm going home in great form, and I'm delighted I came here. And by the way, I'm delighted the Government of Ireland and Irish Aid are supporting. It's really, really important. That's the message I'll be bringing back to my government.
I think Brendan was like secretly listening to our panel because this is exactly what we spoke about. But you feel it, and it's amazing to hear. William, what are like the crucial factors that we took into account by choosing the winners?
Yeah, I think that we, as was just mentioned, we had to compare apples to oranges.
Yes.
So it was difficult to compare on those factors. But we definitely managed to find a consensus in trying to help companies that bring a few of the key elements that ClimateLaunchpad looks for. So companies that bring to the table a good idea that is executable and that does bring a great carbon saving. And coming from that from those parameters, we were very quickly able to come to three finalists.
Perfect, thank you so much. Janneke, what was crucial for you?
Well, yeah, I think what we're all here for is the impact that the companies can make. I think that's the key. And then the second thing, as I mentioned earlier, it's the team. Do I believe that this team has the drive and the perseverance above all to make it happen?
Nice, amazing. So this is like a big thank you to all of you because you've managed to transfer all your energy to our jury and to everyone watching today. I think we wouldn't keep you any longer because this is the exciting moment and you will be having sweaty hands there at home probably. By the way, the top 3 will be broadcasted live, so get your speech, your thank you speech ready. And also after the whole announcement, please stick around the top 3 because we need to finalize some details with you. Not that we don't find you anymore, but it's nice, and we're gonna make a festive moment out of it. Before announcing one final applause for the top 16 finalists of this year. It's about time. We're gonna head to the third prize. Janneke, join me please on stage. Will you please share with us what the jury thinks and said about this number 3 finalist?
Yeah, well, we were very impressed by the team and the technology of this company. But above all, we think that this company addresses the key challenge that we have, and that is reducing the level of CO2 in the air. So,
woo, ladies and gentlemen, and the winner is.
₂D membranes from Switzerland.
Switzerland!
Congratulations!
Ah! Woohoo! Congratulations, Switzerland!
I see very happy.
There is a very
Thank you
happy
so
winner.
much.
Yes, there you are, there you are, there we are. You are. Congratulations! How do you feel?
Yeah, quite excited. Quite excited. Very happy and yeah, looking forward. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your choice.
For the people who just joined in live today, now at this moment, in one sentence, what is your startup about?
We're making membranes for industrial CO2 emitters to capture their CO2 so they can be more green and don't pay for the carbon certificates.
Wow. That is promising, and that is a very good candidate for the #3 award this year. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, what will you do with the prize money? Do you have a nice idea?
Take the team for dinner.
Yeah, so we're going to celebrate with that money.
Yeah. That's always a good idea, because we've just been told that we are going to have so much more fun along the way, because this is a heavy journey ahead of you, and you're going to have a lot of fun with it. That's very good. What were you most proud of during your competition?
So actually, we're most proud of my team, because we could really work together and polish our pitch. Yeah. We started with a very more rawer pitch, I can say. Yeah. And during this competition, we just made it better. We worked together, and I'm very proud of our team and the progress that we made during this competition.
Amazing. Well, let's give them a final big applause to the #3 ₂D membranes. Thank you. William, join me, please, please. It's more comfortable now, standing on the other side of the.
Absolutely. Well, it's great to join you on stage.
Yes. We are live here, and now the second place. We're going to announce it.
Absolutely.
Can you please first share with us what the jury has to say about this #2 candidate?
Only good things.
Only good things. Oh, luckily.
But as the previous winner it's really a very singularly focused, razor sharp on carbon reductions. Yeah. The #2 winner has a long list of things that we found very agreeable about the company. Okay. To give a few highlights, a very community-driven solution, and a very much a required solution. This is something we really need. Very high social impact. There are many things coming together: carbon reductions, education, off-grid. Name it, it's there.
Please don't keep us waiting any longer. Can I have some drum rolls, please? The #2 goes to
Waga from Tanzania.
Yes. Congratulations. Gibson, there you are again. You must be so proud.
Yes.
How does it feel to be the #2 of the Climate-Launchpad 2022?
I'm very grateful, because I started this journey experiencing the problem, and now I see the future to go to solve the problem to a place where I come from. So I'm very grateful.
Oh, that is so amazing. What are you going to do with your prize money?
Don't spend it all in one night.
How many batteries can you buy? I don't know, 50 euro each? You have 5,000 euros. That's an easy calculation. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah, so I've been looking at different machines online. I've been linking up with people on LinkedIn on how I can access big machines to sort the batteries, to spot well together and make the product. So I'm going to purchase good materials so that I can scale up my operations. So you are going now to be big.
That is money very well spent, I think.
Absolutely.
Right?
Congratulations.
Oh, definitely. What were you most proud of in this competition?
First of all, was to understand how much carbon I'm saving from the environment, because most of the times we do projects, we do businesses without knowing how much impact we are making. We have an idea, but we can't quantize. So I'm grateful I'm able now to know how much tons of carbon dioxide I'm saving each year. And when I'm scale up, I'll have a tool to approximate how much carbon I'll be saving out there. And my pitch was made well in the training also. So thank you.
Oh, perfect. Well, congratulations and one final applause to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Whew, there are like 14 teams now. Sweaty. Brandon, will you please join me on stage?
Here we go.
It's your the honor is yours to yes, right. It's your honor to announce the number one of this year's edition. It was incredibly hard.
Very, very hard. Really, everyone is a winner here.
Look at them. Well, if we now agree that we are all going to make the impact that we calculated, like was just explained by Gibson, then we are actually really winners. This is just some money.
It's amazing.
And it's amazing. But let's just do that. Then that's the true prize, right?
A few characteristics of the winner.
Yes,
and I don't want to give it away, of course.
Yes,
but
try.
The winner demonstrates incredible innovation, really. And addresses an industry which is a major emitter, I won't say which industry.
Okay.
And replaces a particular product as well.
Okay.
And contributes to the circular economy.
Okay.
And adds value to another industry as well, which is important because it's sustainable.
This is so exciting. The winner of the Climate Launchpad Competition 2022. Let's give us some drum rolls again. And the winner is...
From Brazil, Mabe.
Mabe, congratulations! you look surprised.
I'm in shock.
Congratulations.
That's always a good thing, right? Like surprise.
Oh my God.
Surprise, you're the winner. How does it feel besides the shock?
Amazing. I'm really happy. I wasn't expecting at all. There's so many interesting projects going on. So, oh my God, I'm really glad. Thank you so much.
This is the greatest gift you can get as a jury, right?
Our pleasure.
And what will you do with your prize money? The 10,000 euros.
Of course, of course, I'm gonna invest in in our business, buying some machines and also financing some part of the R&D phase.
Yeah.
So basically using for speed up the business and so on.
Very well spent again. For the people just tuning in one sentence, your startup. In one sentence, can you explain it to us?
Well, we are planning to plant trees in Brazil.
Yes.
And produce a plant-based leather, involving communities and making good for the environment.
Well, I would love to be your first customer. Please let me know whenever I can. Okay.
I'll be your
okay.
I've been told that is the first step. So we will help you. That's easy, right?
Yeah.
First two customers are here.
I will definitely send some samples to you.
Yes. Amazing. Well, congratulations to you. One final remark. What are you most proud of in this competition up until so far? Besides winning, because that is like a shock, but like along the way in the Climate Launchpad experience.
It was an interesting experience because we could be able to develop our business model.
Yes.
And also work along with other projects, people from different projects, knowing that there are so many really cool projects going on. It's also a way to keep going and moving forward.
Yeah.
So and also it's really important for us to be in the Climate Launchpad and participating in all the phases and now we are the first. We got the first place. So, oh my God, this is really, really good.
You know, it's nothing big, but this is just the world's biggest business competition.
Yeah.
You just won it, the world's biggest green business competition. Yeah. It's you, the winner. Thank you, and congratulations. One final applause to you, Mabe. Wow! Please join me on stage because this is a festive moment. And I think we will have all the because you are all winners. That's been said before. It's cheesy, but it's true. We are all winners, and we wish to congratulate all the 2,000 applicants. We will be all winners when we make the impact that we are promising now, because we now calculated, we know what to do. We will make that impact. Please take with you that it's also so much fun to do, because that is like creating meaningful differences in the world, and that's what we need. We have now startups from all around the world, and I really hope that you get the energy a bit that we were having here in the studio, like broadcasted to you at this moment. There we have some of the finalists behind. Oh, let's show them that. Yes, there they are. Yes, congratulations to all of you. I hope you have like a drink, because we're gonna toast to you. I hope the people at home as well, because what a ride it was. Can we please get some champagne, and maybe the whole team of ClimatePad come bring it up here? Yes, big applause. Emily, Denise, Edric, Minke, the team of Climate-KIC, Chris, David, and Shira, every one of you. Congratulations. Your journey is not ending here. You're now part of the alumni organization, and the alumni, they share and they exchange knowledge, and we help each other out. So you're now one of us, so to say. So another big thank you, a big congratulations also to all the national leads, all the partners, ERT Climate-KIC, Irish Aid, the TU Delft, the Bank of America, everyone, all the partners that participated. It was an honor and so much fun to be your host today. Thank you for having me. Please go to globalfinal.climatelaunchpad.org to see and to play back this amazing grand global grand final. I'm mixing up the words already. I think it's time for some champagne. Ladies and gentlemen, the future is now. You are so much part of it. Good luck and see you soon. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Ja, heel goed. Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers. Cheers. Dank jullie wel.
Goed gedaan. Goed gedaan.
Dank je wel.
Thank you guys.
Very well. Yes. Ik hoop dat die laatste er allemaal op stond, maar ik denk dat ik wel mijn lijstje heb gehad. Nou, goed gedaan, jongens.